The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Hit the like button. Come on in. Shalom.
We've been through so much pain. Life took us separate ways. Both did some hurtful things, but it's not over. You know that we both care. So can we forgive and forget? I need you here. Remember the ups and downs, the trials we've been through.
Shalom. Come on in, brothers and
See,
sisters.
there is no one on this earth who can replace you, my brother.
Life is too short.
Life is too short, don't hold no grudges. You are my blood. We must forgive and love each other. No matter what life throws at us, we must keep brotherly love. Searched high and low, where did you go? Pick up your phone.
Thank you for letting me know it's dark.
Brother, do you hear me calling?
I'll apologize.
See, I apologize.
I'll apologize.
This bomb will never die. Remember the ups and downs and trials we've been through. So I'll keep on darling. I'll go till I get through to you, brother. Life is too short, don't hold no grudges. No grudges, my brother. We must forgive and love each other. No matter what life throws at us,
We must keep brotherly love.
hey, we must keep brothers, not enemies. Let's come together for the family. Let's walk as one, forgive and let it go. We need to let it go.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathering of Christ Church here with our weekly discussions, our weekly blog talk discussions. Happy belated Day of Atonement to all my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. To all my family, friends, those who are within the church. And I would like to say a blessed shalom and blessed Day of Atonement to those who probably deem me your enemy. Okay. My prayer is for all that, like this song you've just heard, that we can put all divisive views, dissension to the side in preparation for what's to come. If each year under the Day of Atonement, the Most High could forgive our sins, even in the Old Testament, who am I or who are we to hold grudges? Okay. So I pray that the Most High can lighten brothers and sisters' heart and allow the Holy Spirit to heal them and heal all they hurt or anything that they might be going through, so that we can unify in the Spirit of Christ before his return. And that's first and foremost. So happy belated Day of Atonement to all my brothers and sisters out there. Okay, we have a serious discussion tonight. That's what took a little bit because I had to get things ready with the Zoom and everything else. Okay, and thank you for holding it down out there for us, being patient. Okay, giving us time to get this program together. Okay, the Purge of Babylon. Okay, there's so much I want to discuss this evening. So much, brothers and sisters. All right, but first and foremost, I would like to say all praises be to the Most High Ahaya. That's God's name. I am that I am. The Most High's name is Ahaya. His son Yeshaya, that's his name. Our Savior, my Savior, Yeshaya. In the name of the Holy Spirit, through the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach. Okay. That's the first family of all creation. Okay. I like to say all praises to the God of the Hebrews, the God of Israel, Ahaya, and his name and his son's name, Yeshaya, through the Holy Spirit. And I would like to say thank you to all you brothers and sisters who are currently in attendance to view this particular timely broadcast. It's ironic that I think I've seen, matter of fact, who we have out there. We got Hebrew Harris. How you doing, Hebrew Harris? I see some familiar people. David Baruch. How you doing, Dave? Okay, Natasha Dallas. Blessed Day of Atonement. Okay. Faith. Jerry, how are you? Zena, how are you? Hi to my extended family, our extended family. There was someone who said they was from Illinois. I think her name was Lakita. Lakita in particular, you probably need to really listen to what we're going to discuss this evening, because it has something to do with legislation that's being pushed predominantly in Illinois. And that particular legislation will be pushed throughout the United States, which will lead to a serious purge. Okay, a serious purge. And the purge we're going to discuss this evening is biblical, it's prophetic. And of course, there's no way we're going to put these things out there without discussing how do we overcome the pearls, the evil that's coming against our people. How do we get together in the Spirit of the Almighty to withstand the purge? To withstand the purge. So I wanted to put that out there. And let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. Folks, when the cold happened in early 2020, right? And that was being pushed, that began to get pushed right before the election. the gathering of Christ Church, myself in particular, held ground and said, well, listen, we must look prophetically more so to what the Most High is doing and what he expects of us before we listen to anything the mainstream media is pushing. Okay, because obviously there's nothing that they've ever pushed since we've been here. Nothing that have actually favored those who would believe in God, and especially our people. Okay, simply because we've been lied to over and over again. You know, even if I didn't have the scriptures and all that, and I'm glad I have the scriptures so I can see them for who they are, based on the continual lies that our people and all people have been told in this country or in the world, personally, I simply don't trust them. I don't trust them because they usually present something on one side and our people get the short end of the stick on the other side. Every time. They told us 40 acres and a mule. That was enough to bait us into what? Quieting down. Right? Totally quieting down. They heightened our expectations, got us all excited, only to pull the rug right from up under our forefathers. Then they came with this con game, sharecropping. And on top of that, set up a country after that, subsequent to that. Straight redlining where we were in the country, but could not participate. We could not participate with or in the spoils of the country. The riches of the country. So we lived in the country, but it's like they set up two separate systems and kept us out. So they kept us out. We end up building Black Wall Street and say, if you want to keep us out, okay, we'll build our own, because we simply can't trust that you're going to do anything you're going to say that can give us some financial equality. Because with finances comes defense for our children, for our family. It allows us to protect ourselves and build legacy, build a name without begging, without always operating from a victim position. See? And see, this is why I say, listen, it's not that whether or not they tell the truth, because yes, they tell the truth sometimes, but what have they done in this earth or in Babylon that would have us at the very end of it all trust them? So that leads me to the broadcast I'm going into this evening. The Purge of Babylon. Folks, the powers that be realize they can no longer pull some of the con games and the lies and the deceptive politics that they've used on our people since chattel slavery. They're starting to realize that okay, I guess we've run out of tricks. The people are no longer responding. So when the cold happened in 2020, I believe, and I said it back then, that the powers that be began to up in the ante, full court press, and that this would mark a time prophetically that we can look back at as the beginning or the height or the beginning, not the height, but the beginning of serious trouble. Jacob's trouble. That they will begin to do things and our people would magically, through following what the power structure is telling us, would simply disappear only to be replaced. And I mentioned that. But something in particular So I'm about to get off my monologue in a moment. One thing particular that came with what they put us all through in 2020, there was a date. And that date is, well, we'll know the effects of all this stuff by March 2023. We can't really say whether or not it's positive or negative or what the overall effects will be up until this time based on what was on their website. 2023, so suppose we trust you between now and then. How does that benefit me not knowing the long-term effects that will probably be revealed 3 years later? So when they said 2023, that's when the whole thing is going to be, they could look back and whether or not, the solution helped. I looked at that and said, something serious is going to happen in this earth before that time. We're under a purge. We're under a chemical purge. We're under a biological purge, I believe. And folks, the purge I'm talking about, a plague purge. We're under a financial purge. We're under a nation purge. We're under a nation purge. And it's time to get spiritually prepared for what's coming down the pipeline. Because now that we no longer trust what they're saying and none of their tricks can work like it used to, yeah, they're cooking up a frontal engagement. But still, because they're so deceptive, they have to make it seem as if we're our people, black people. They're going to make it seem as if we're purging ourselves. They're setting the stage to blame us for a purge they're orchestrating. Let me say it again for those who don't understand what I'm saying right now, and I'm going to bring it all out. They're setting the stage because they understand, right, that we no longer believe their political antics or games. Okay? And these powerful, the elite, let me tell you, they're not going to stand our people not engaging in their electoral process. You have to understand why. You have to understand why. There's a lot of budgets and packages, financial packages, that are attached politically to those who are pushing or who are running the system. A change of parties can also mean what? You got it. Stifling of certain programs that others are benefiting from. So even though they both, left and right, have a problem with us, they're all fighting. It's like musical chairs, folks. They're fighting for the few chairs that are left that will allow their programs to sustain. Okay? And they're going to blame us for not coming out, not supporting it anymore. Why should we support anything? It seems like no matter what we do, everyone else gets supported. Folks, something heartbreaking happened. Something seriously that's heartbreaking happened about a week ago. That really almost it hurt it to some degree. This is just a sidebar before I bring Elder Lawyer in. It's a sidebar real quick. New York City, the mayor and the governor opened. Well, they had a press conference, right? And the news was talking about all of these immigrants from East India and Asia that was led into New York. Now, that's not a problem in of itself. I'm going to show you the heartbreaking part here that I'm speaking of. A luxury hotel for immigrants. They booked out all of these rooms at a luxury hotel. You know how much it costs to stay in a luxury hotel in New York? East Indians, straight off the plains. Asians, straight off the plains. Some Latinos, straight off the plane. What they want to call Latinos. And they were put up with taxpayers' money. Americans' money, including blacks, we're here too. On our coin, they were placed in luxury hotels. See, but that's not the heartbreaking part of it. 2 blocks away from the luxury hotel, someone strove around the corner with a phone and showed how many of our people were laying on the ground who were born here. Not just our people, white people who were born here on the streets. Veterans who were born here on the streets. Just 2 blocks away from a luxury hotel that they're putting immigrants up in. The question is, if we're already in an overpopulated world as the elite claims, how will they actually make room for all of these people they're putting in hotels? Luxury hotels, mind you, on taxpayers' money. Folks, this is a political, social engineering purge right up under us, and everyone is sleeping. Our people are suffering. We can't get nothing unless we choose. Unless we choose to forego family. We can't get welfare. We get welfare. Well, you can't get welfare if you got a man around. You can't get housing if a man is around. So we have to give up family to get any help from a country we help build. But yet immigrants who have nothing to do with this country can come in and stay in luxury hotels and order full course meals on taxpayers' money, on the people who built the country. What's wrong with this picture, and what is the benefit of them bringing them in while ignoring our people? This is a political reshifting, folks. Again, they're not going to allow the political structure to tank. If we don't engage, guess what? They're showing you the replacements, because the elite and those people, the taskmasters that are over our communities, that's right, folks. All of the packages, the programs, the financial packages that's voted in, they're not seeking to lose any of that by a change of parties. And at the same time they're doing this, they're touting voting reform. Folks, the voting reform has nothing to do with black people can't get to the polls. It has nothing to do with that, because Barack Obama showed everyone that was a lie. When we want to vote, we'll vote. Now we're starting to understand what it's really about. But how did this come into Bible prophecy, one might ask? Well, let me bring in Elder Lawyer. Elder Lawyer, you with me?
Yes, sir. Shalom.
Shalom, Elder Lawyer. How are you this evening? Thank you for joining.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
I was mentioning real quick, Elder Lawyer, the heartbreaking optics.
Mm.
How dare they? How can they bring in all these people from other countries when our people have suffered building this country and continue to suffer? Before I go into the scriptures, do you have anything to say on anything that I've just talked that I've spoke about during my monologue, real quick?
No, sir. I think you've laid it out pretty clearly. And at this time, I think it's best to go into the scriptures to elaborate to see what the Most High and the scriptures say about this particular thing, because this is of biblical proportions, whether people want to realize it or not.
It's serious, very serious. And it's a shame because our people are so trusting. But I'm going to tell you, the ignorance of people, the ignorance will be their demise, will be our demise. The ignorance, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. The Bible tells us, Elder Lawyer, and it asks us serious questions as a people, and we're so believing. The majority of us are Christians or believe in something. But yet, when it comes to the scriptures that would actually protect us by warning all of us of the tactics that would come directly from establishment, we're totally ignorant to. We believe in the Bible, but the Bible warns us too. And the Bible asks questions like, can a leopard change his spots?
Right.
Can a leopard change his spots? It's like our people are waiting for the established power of Babylon to do right by us for the first time. For the first time. Everything is a trick. The Civil Rights Bill was total garbage. It allowed the reprobates, the freaks, the peddlers. It allowed all the people that our forefathers knew we shouldn't trust in our circles. Let's go, Elder Lawyer. Let's go to Amos first. Let's go to Amos, where it tell you there's no truth in this land.
Hosea 4?
Yeah, Hosea 4. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Hosea 4, verse 1.
Yeah.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
The Bible says God has a controversy with those who live in this land. He has a controversy with us. What is the controversy?
Because there is no truth.
Because there is no what?
Because there is no truth.
Because there is no truth.
Nor mercy.
Nor mercy.
Nor knowledge of God in the land.
Nor knowledge of God in the land. I'm going to show you how our people, Elder Lawyer, go for the con game over and over and over again. Over and over again. Hold on, let me get this out of here. I'm going to show, and then we're going to go into the prophetic purge according to the Bible, that the Bible highlights. Here it is, Elder Lawyer. Here it is. And I want to go into the fact that the Bible states that our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Elder Lawyer, they just think our people are stupid.
Mm.
They believe that we are a people who strictly vote. We strictly cast our votes or our sentiments behind how we feel. Emotional supporters. So I'm going to tell you, Elder Lawyer, they have examined us. They have studied us since the Greeks. We're the only people who could never understand that politics isn't something you can go into with your emotions.
Right.
Because the only thing they have to do is put a Blues Brother pair of shades on a guy that no one knows, that no one should trust, and let him take saxophone lessons 1 month before the Arsenio Hall show. Now, I don't know if I'm showing my age right now, Elder Lawyer, but before Barack Obama, in North Philadelphia, we were told Bill Clinton was, quote unquote, really the first black president. I don't know if you ever heard that one.
Yeah, I mean, that was the punchline growing up. Not necessarily for my household, but that was something that went around, that he was the first black president, and that's what people accepted. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, before this guy was president, Elder Lawyer. Now you was raised way in the same neighborhood, but years after I was already, come to age.
Right.
And I don't know how you remember North Philadelphia, but I remember North Philadelphia, Elder Lawyer, where the community looked out for each other. It's like the whole block was aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
Used to sit on the stoop, and there was no fear of any gunfire or anything. There was no threat of someone getting shot on the stoop before Bill Clinton. Right? But then I remember something coming into our communities called crack. Now, there's allegedly some connection between Arkansas and all of that, but I'm not going to go into that. If y'all would like to see that on your own, and maybe we'll do that one day and review the Clinton Chronicles, because I don't want to keep it on him. But I just want to just show you in particular how all they had to do, Elder Lawyer, was put a pair of sunglasses on him, a stranger with a political agenda that we thought was for our people. Now, why am I bringing out this in particular? Because I'm not going to stick on him. This is what he said once our people began to call him out on the 1994 crime bill that led to our brothers being incarcerated. They were incentivizing incarcerating our people. Judges, all of that. They were building new prisons, and they had to find a way to pack them. So the drugs came at the same time this guy came, and the only thing he needed was a pair of sunglasses and saxophones. And the next thing you know, our sisters and our mothers and our grandmothers looked up, and the majority of their men were in prison. If you leave our people out politically and financially out of a system that have been built with a structure to keep us on the bottom, eventually, if you give the opportunity to make a lot of money in a short time, who's going to jump on it when we've been socially deprived? Eventually, our people, after getting deprived and all that, is going to, you say, here's a whole bag of cocaine. Here's a bag. You sell this bag, you get $1,000 today. And you're putting it in an area with serious deprivation. So here it is, Elder Lawyer. He was confronted by our people saying, now here it is. We're still suffering. We're still suffering from the crack pandemic till this day.
Mm-hmm.
It decimated families. And then when Hillary was about to run, some of our people who realized this guy tricked us started confronting him. And let's hear the answer he gave. Fair use.
In order to do it, they talked about this yesterday. In order to do it. Wait a minute. Okay, I heard it. Can I answer? No, you see, here's the thing. I like protesters.
Fair use for educational purposes only. Fair use for educational purposes only.
But the ones that won't let you answer are afraid of the truth. What she's referring to are the increased sentencing provisions of the 1994 crime bill.
The 1994 crime bill. Now listen to his janky explanation of why our brothers was locked up under his administration. After our people trusted him at a pivotal time within American history. This would put our people behind for generations, the crack pandemic. Now listen to his satanic answer.
Here's what happened. Let's just tell the whole story. When I became president, the headlines in the newspapers were full of, now wait a minute, I listen to you, you listen to me. Wait. Here's what happened. Vice President Biden, you got...
Oh, here we go. Vice President Biden, Elder Lawyer. Biden was the governor. He was actually in the Senate during this time, and they were looking to push, Elder Lawyer, the 1994 crime bill, which was incentivized by the prison industrial complex, where they would corporatize prisons and now do what? Kickbacks allegedly to politicians and all that if they can shape bills to criminalize us to pack their prisons. So now he's mentioning Biden, right? Listen clearly. He said vice president because he was vice president at the time Bill Clinton came with this janky explanation.
You guys know Vice President Biden, whose family comes from Scranton.
Now they were able to sneak Biden into the White House using a black face, Obama. See how they did it? They needed, because they know that we wouldn't have voted for a guy who's responsible for passing laws which decimated our communities. But they had to backdoor him with a black face, knowing that we vote strictly through our emotions. See how they do it?
He was the chairman of the committee that had jurisdiction over this crime bill. I had an assault weapons ban in it. I had money for inner city kids for out of school activities.
You see what they threw in it? Money for inner city kids. So he's running on one side saying, well, it is money for some inner city kids. Not telling us that, yeah, but the crack is going to destroy those kids and the crime bill will lock them up.
We had 110,000 police officers so we could put people on the street, not in these military vehicles, and the police would look like the people they were policing. We did all that.
And gave us nothing. He was able to hire all these police while our people suffer with no financial equality.
And Biden said, you can't pass this bill, the Republicans will kill it if you don't put more sentencing in.
He says Biden said that the Senate, the Republicans now, let's throw the buck over there. that the Republicans are going to kill it if we don't put what? More sentencing in it. So he said, I had to pass it because I had a lot of good stuff in it for you. But Biden said that, no, we can't pass it because the Republicans will shut it down if you don't put more sentencing in it. Our folks don't listen, folks. More sentencing. To sentence who? Aren't you already sentencing our people enough? So now he says, well, Biden said we need to keep people, we need to put more people in jail and give them longer sentences. And that's the only way I'll sign this bill.
I talked to a lot of African American groups. They thought.
Now we're talking about the Black Caucus now. The Sambos. I talked to the Black Caucus. Now he's going to blame our people.
Black Lives Matter. They said, take this bill because our kids are being shot in the street by gangs.
From the drugs you are allowing allegedly into the community?
13-year-old kids planning their own funerals. She don't want to hear any of that. You know what else she doesn't want to hear? Because of that bill, we had a 25-year low in crime, a 33 low in the murder rate, and listen to this. Because
of course you had the low murder rate and all that. Of course you did. It was engineered, allegedly. Of course they would have the majority of people, the majority of men in our community were arrested under your administration. And that leads us to Illinois today. Elder Lawyer. Chicago, Illinois just passed a bill. And folks, y'all better get ready because this is just the beginning. Illinois. Fair use.
In the lame duck session, state lawmakers discussing a new controversial criminal justice reform bill put forth by the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus.
This is a big problem, and it requires a bold...
And Elder Lawyer, they got the Black Caucus as the face of it, put together by the Black Caucus. The same way Clinton was claiming that was a black bill to help our community.
Right.
Response. House Bill 163 is now amended, is a bold response.
The proposed legislation includes...
No, let me read it. The Criminal Justice Reform Bill of Illinois, which will soon be a purge bill, not just for Illinois. Watch. And this goes into place January 1st, folks, before the March 23rd, March 2023 deadline on the stuff that they rolled out, that they were talking about in 2020. So it's going to be too much. It's going to be so much chaos. People are going to forget about that deadline of March 2023 when it comes to the experiment being over. It's going to be so much chaos. People, it's like throwing smoke up there at the same time so that they can get away with total criminality. So before the experiment is done, this is what we'll be faced with. In cash bail. Expand police training on use of force. Prohibit chokeholds. Maintenance of police misconduct records, special prosecutors, and officer-involved deaths. Now that all sounds good, doesn't it? That sounds more so like the package that Bill was talking, that Slick Willie was talking about. That he had a bill, he had some packages in place that can help children. So on the surface, this sounds good, doesn't it? Oh, this is police reform. This is exactly what we're looking for. Continue to listen, brothers and sisters.
Cash bail, expanding police training on use of force, and prohibiting chokeholds. It also requires the maintenance of police misconduct records and the use of special prosecutors in officer-involved deaths.
This is a comprehensive, bold, transformative initiative to reform the way.
Now, these are the people they utilizes. Now, folks, the reason why they're using Zoom and all these things now, and with these fake backgrounds getting us used to people not actually being on location, because they understand when the population realize that they have been double crossed. Okay, when the population realize they've been double crossed, the people are going to respond, and these cats, they're not going to be nowhere to be found. So he's sitting there with this makeup background, supporting a bill that they know that's going to help destroy our people.
We look at criminal justice, violence reduction, and police accountability across the state of Illinois.
Some law enforcement groups have been critical of the bill.
We know we're not perfect. No profession or person is. We respectfully request that you not proceed with this legislation and allow us the opportunity to share our experiences in developing effective policy.
The Illinois State's Attorneys Association also expressing their disapproval. They say it will profoundly undermine public safety and overturn long-standing common sense policies and practices in the...
Folks, wait till y'all hear what's in this bill. Wait till y'all hear what they're about to do.
The criminal justice system. But Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox,
there go another one,
coming out in support of the legislation.
There you go. All they need is two black faces.
Today, saying the spirit of Illinois House Bill 163 is meant to build trust in police departments across Illinois while addressing long-needed problems to alter unfair criminal justice policies rooted in systemic racism that result in our jails and prisons being disproportionately occupied by black and brown individuals.
I don't know what they mean by this black and brown thing. When did they switch to that? I'm still trying to figure out who the Hades is black and brown.
Visuals.
Okay, that's their trick language.
Hey, if you like that video.
No, I don't like it because I found something else. Look at this, elder lawyer.
Starting in January, a new law will go into effect in Illinois called the Safety Act. Part of it eliminates cash bail for most offenses. Today, the Winnebago County State's Attorney says around 400 inmates at the county jail will be released.
Will be released. Check it out. No cash bail, and many criminals will be released. Now, of course, elder lawyer, if you release criminals, right, crime will go up.
Right.
So then they can come on the other side and convict, they can prosecute some of them. And now you have all these janky numbers they'll come up with to say, listen, hey, certain crime went down 23%. Our prosecution rate went up. They'll use these same numbers that Bill would use to claim that it's good for us while we're getting stomped out.
Under the new law, people arrested for many criminal cases, including battery, robbery.
Hold up. Listen, elder lawyer. Battery, robbery,
and vehicular homicide.
Vehicular homicide
cannot be detained no matter the severity.
They cannot be detained no matter what the severity. Tell me this is not the Purge. Tell me that this is not the movie, The Purge. Listen to what people are allowed to do without being detained. Where cops cannot detain them if they come on the scene and any of this has happened. Listen again.
Under the new law, people arrested for many criminal cases, including battery, robbery, and
fair use, battery, robbery,
vehicular homicide.
Vehicular homicide. You can take your car, according to this, and ram it and run somebody over, and the cops cannot detain you?
Cannot be detained no matter the severity of the crime.
No matter the severity of the crime. Now, vehicular homicide, how severe? Can it get any worse than that? Homicide means that someone killed someone. Listen to this. Y'all better watch out because it started in Illinois, but it's coming to all the big cities. Listen to it again. So when they was talking that crap, prison reform and all this stuff, George Floyd and all this, Now you understand what they had in place, what they had in mind years in advance, folks. Because this is not going to affect the people who don't live in the inner cities or in the poor neighborhoods.
Or homicide cannot be detained no matter the severity of the crime. Unless there is evidence, they're a flight risk, and a judge can.
So unless there's evidence, they are a flight risk. So they say, listen, judge, no, I just ran someone over, but I'm staying home.
Can only detain someone for murder and armed robbery if there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community.
They can only arrest someone for murder if it's a threat to the community. Man, are we living in idiocracy or what?
If there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community. Jay Hanley and other states.
Let me hear this again.
Crime. Unless there is evidence, they're a flight risk, and a judge can only detain someone for murder and armed robbery if there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community.
Murder and armed robbery, a judge can decide, well, you're not a threat to the whole community. You only robbed and killed one person on one block. The community is pretty safe, so you go back out there. Go back out there and get them, champ.
Hanley and other states' attorneys around Illinois are asking to tweak the law and allow judges to use their discretion in all cases.
Now, folks, here's the scary part of this. The scary part of this is you have to understand that when they do these things, there's a bait and switch. There's a bait and switch. This is deeper than them just releasing criminals. Suppose others from other communities now who hate our people, who are racist, suppose they come into the community and want to get a few things off real quick, knowing that the crime will be blamed on us. See where this is going, folks? See, I always look at the big picture. Even when we do the academy and the news and we deal with the commentary, I go into things that people aren't even thinking about when it comes to this. Because I understand what the scriptures say concerning this and how the government would do certain things. And at the end of the day, we're the blame. Folks, they're dog whistling. They're telling all the races from other communities who hate other races and all these things that guess what? You can go in allegedly and do it. Listen, we're not saying anything, but no one's getting locked up right now. So this is a greater problem than them releasing prisoners. This is others who can come in and get some things off, knowing that they'll only blame it on the people in our communities. And now they'll have enough crime in place to claim, probably, I don't know, that international help must come in to help us with this because there's not enough policemen. Policemen are backing up since they can't do their job, and now we need foreign police help.
The Safety Act passed in 2021, and many Republicans have been trying to make changes to it, including Darren Bailey. Bailey continues to promise a repeal.
So, folks, this is deeper than just prisoners being released. What I'm looking at is what happened with those who commit a crime, who aren't released. Okay. So now someone can mosey in one of these satanic rednecks from down south can come up in there spitting tobacco and say, listen, hey, they've given us free reign to come through for a couple of hours. Not just them, others.
Repeal of the Safety Act if he's elected governor. It's a move that would be unlikely even if he won, since it would require the House and Senate.
Folks, this is dog whistling. For those who don't know what dog whistling is, There's whistles that are silent that only dogs can hear. So this is telling all the racists and the haters and all these people who are doing evil, who's thinking to do things, and get away with it, that there will be a bill passed soon that will allow them to get away with crime, literally, but only within our specific neighborhoods.
Senate to flip, and Democrats.
Yeah, it seems as if they're socially engineering a race war.
Hold supermajorities in both chambers. The bill's sponsors are saying the conversation around the Safety Act is not happening in good faith.
Fair use.
I think if we're going to have conversations about public safety, then we should actually engage on the history of people like Darren Bailey.
Okay, we don't want to hear anything what y'all have to say. What we want to hear is what they're going to allow starting January 1st. We don't need no spinners spinning it.
Most offenses. Today, the Winnebago County State's Attorney says around 400 inmates at the county jail will be released.
And we got the Black Caucus leading this, folks. Now, they didn't say that we're going to release black criminals. To show you they simple as the days old.
Under the new law, people arrested for many criminal cases, including battery, robbery, and vehicular homicide, cannot be detained no matter the severity of the crime.
Cannot be detained no matter the severity of the crime? What is this? The same guy who told Bill Clinton that he couldn't pass a bill that can help children unless higher sentencing was added to it. And now he's the president saying he's going to let criminals go? Or not arrest criminals? Because this is all under his administration, folks. The purge. Because at the end of the day, if crime happens, disproportionately in a certain area, it's going to be the people in that area to blame, folks. This is political, total annihilation of our communities. Those that were able to survive the Now I'm starting to see where some of those so-called immigrants would eventually have a place to stay. No longer will they have to get put up into luxury hotels. Because eventually they're going to make a lot of space. A lot of room is being made. So there's nothing to clean up an area like good old crime.
Unless there is evidence, they're a flight risk, and a judge can only detain someone for murder and armed robbery if there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community.
They can, hold up. The judge can only lock someone up for what? Murder. And
there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community.
Listen to this.
Risk, and a judge can only detain someone for murder and armed robbery.
He can only detain a judge, for murder and armed robbery
if there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community.
If there's a real and present threat to the safety of the community. If someone just killed someone, how can someone frame a defense that this person is safe for the community? Armed robbery. With a gun, that means. The purge.
Jay Hanley and other states' attorneys around Illinois are asking to tweak the law and allow judges to use their discretion in.
An elder lawyer. This is how you know this is not just a coincidence. Out of all the states to pass this, right now, the social engineering of crime for Chicago. It's, just the criminality when it comes to shooting and all that and gang territory. Out of all the places to pass this, you would do it in a state that has one of the highest rates of gun crime, not just in the United States, but in the world? So this is telling people that under this bill that they can actually come against a rival or harm or kill one of their own without consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Let's go directly where it says, the Most High would have healed Babylon. Folks, y'all can't see what they're doing? Y'all can't see what they're doing, can you? They're purging. And at the end of the day, by allowing criminality to happen at the same time, they're going to be able to scapegoat the same people they're purging. I mean, this is diabolically genius on their part. They're going to blame us for the crime they are allowing us to do. Use the news to totally demonize us in the eyes of other races of people. Oh, this is Jacob's trouble, folks. Elder Lawyer, read it.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 51, verse 9. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind.
Come on.
And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And against them that bendeth the archer, his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up against his Brigidine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host.
Come on.
Verse 4, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God,
Come
of
on.
the Lord of hosts.
Go down to
Though their land was...
So the Most High is going to bring a judgment on Babylon for their constant lies, trickery, and deception against God's people. The Most High would have healed this land if for one moment the people of this land sought to actually treat us as people. They bait us in over and over again only. It's like putting cheese on a rat trap. And we bite the cheese every time. Every time. Look at this. A saxophone and sunglasses. And this guy ushered in one of the most damning errors, against our people. Crack came with this administration. The crime bill, Biden, came with this administration. The more we embrace, the more we care and love, the more we embrace them, the more we're destroyed. So now the Most High is going to have to step in. Is like, listen, because our people, guess what? We'll keep biting the cheese. We'll keep trusting. So God must step in. We're being played on either side. Read the 9th verse, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 9.
And so what they did, they said, okay, since they can accept this guy as the first black president, let's get this guy where no one know where he comes from and make him president because he has brown skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and teach him how to do cadence in speeches like Martin Luther King to make everyone believe that he's a new civil rights leader. But his civil rights will be for what? You got it. Intersexual behavior. He'll give all the rights to those people and ignore the people who have embraced him. Over and over again, the same con game. Read the 9th verse of the lawyer.
Yes, sir. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed.
It says we would have healed Babylon. God would have allowed this land to stand if they treated our people with any level of respect or what we would call just the respect on as people. Just to be treated as people. They're always looking at ways of causing financial deprivation for God's people. I need y'all to check out in our communities all of the people that are over the programs, the social programs, and any financial packages that's supposed to be for our communities, our people, God's people. I need you to check out who they are, what their sexual preferences are, and all that. Who's really getting the money to control our communities? Not our people. And the God said in the Bible, I would have healed this country, but you can't be healed. You can't be healed. None of these people I've just pointed out, Elder Lawyer, would have gotten any political ground without our people not just supporting them, but loving them. They continually hit, then hide their hands. But God has he says, listen, I'm going to intervene because my people will trust you to their own death. I'm going to step in. Read it again. Come on.
Yes, sir. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
And that's where it's coming, brothers and sisters. It's coming soon. When you have a country or a nation that has forsaken not just God, but family. Where they're socially engineering through these dating apps and all of this. They've imploded marriage and family. When you have a country that no longer have morals, values, any level of civility, it's over. So, folks, they're purging these cities. I'm going to tell you, and they're doing it because this is the pretext before, that's right, Jerusalem will be compassed with armies. They must push legislation and all of that. Now, I'm going to tell you, they would rather, brothers and sisters, they would rather the crime be organic, but it's not happening quick enough for them. They have done everything, financial deprivation and all that, but our people always find a way to make it. They would rather us, because the majority of people would have went off and started doing all types of things. Okay, but our people aren't like that. So since they can't get organic crime that they can say will go after them, it must begin to be what? Helped along. They must help it along. Because when they get the crime numbers to a certain number, you know how they count those numbers and percentages and all these things. Once they do that, now they have an excuse to bring in foreign help. And who knows? The foreign help may already be here. They may already be here, folks. Who knows? They could be here under the guise of immigration. One last scripture, Elder Lawyer, a great insurrection before I open up the lines.
Yes, sir. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse number 67. And it says here, "Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities."
See, but this
to meddle no more.
I'm glad you mentioned that in that scripture, Elder Lawyer, because the Most High has given us an opportunity to get out of the way. He's telling us to leave off from our iniquity so that we're not caught up within the smoke of all this criminality getting engineered.
Mm-hmm.
We're not living in a time in which, when I grew up, you can, outright, brothers and sisters, we're not living in a time in which you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time doing the wrong thing. It's different now.
Right.
It's different now because guess what? Satan is coming full force with legislation that's seeking to destroy not just our people, but the world. And they saying outright that judges can now say, well, okay, you just shot somebody, but whatever the case is, it don't seem like you don't look like a threat to the community to me. So, maybe I'll put you on house arrest, or matter of fact, go back out there and get him, champ. So this is not a time. This is not a time in which our people can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong things. You let a criminal, a hardened criminal out, and then incentivize his criminality by saying, listen, you can do whatever you want and there'll be no consequence. What do you think going to happen? It's going to be dog eat dog. This is to prey on the innocent. That's what this is about. They're letting predators loose on what? You got it. The lawful people. Let's read it. Come on.
Yes, sir. Behold, God himself is the judge. Fear him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall God lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble.
And the Most High says he'll lead us through this. He'll lead us through all trouble, but it starts with what? A disciplined behavior. A discipline. I know temptation is out there. Let me tell you, folks, I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna go down. When they come out, listen, the scammers coming out, and guess what? You know what they're gonna be using? They're gonna be using Uber, they're gonna be using apps, a guy gonna think he's meeting up with an Instagram girl, and guess what? That's right. He'll be taped up in a hotel room somewhere. They're going to be using apps and all of that. I mean, we're living in a time now, folks, where cats can set things up right from their own homes. All they got to do is get their sister or their cousin to chat with you for a while, and then once they coax you in, that'll be him on the other side the whole time. Oh, no. Well, listen, right now, I'm a shy girl. I don't want to go into your neighborhood. I need to meet you first because, I'm not the type of girl and all that. And you'll be talking to a 300-pound guy named Butch, without knowing it. I'm going to tell you right now. This is how they're going to do it, folks. They're going to come out here. You know them criminals who've been hardened criminals in jail. They're like, man, I wish they had apps and stuff out and phones when we were out. I mean, because, man, we don't have to go find a mark. We can lead the mark to us. It's going to get what my son said the other day. It's going to get lit out here. Finish reading it. Come on.
Yes, sir. If I can make a point on that last statement you made, I think ultimately that's the reality of what this is. We understand politically how this is going to affect our people, but really looking at this from where the Most High stands, it's the Most High forcing us in a corner to really depend on him and to trust in him and to keep his commandments. It's no more backdoor, backroom deals, no more underhandedness, no more sneaking around, no more playing around. Our lives are going to depend on us living a disciplined, clean life, separated from the madness that's going on in this earth. And that's not to say that things won't come to your front door or what have you. We understand that those things happen, especially in our communities, but we have a better chance if we live a disciplined life under the shade of the Most High.
Exactly. Let's finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse 68, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
See that insurrection is to what? Point the criminality against those who really believe. Good people who believe in God. Ultimately, they're releasing the sinners and the evildoers because this is the battle between good and evil.
Right.
See? This is the battle. And the great insurrection is the purge.
Mm-hmm.
It's releasing the criminals against those who believe in God. Tell me the Bible isn't real. Tell me the Bible isn't prophetic. And it's surreal living in this time, seeing it and being able to view it, Elder Lawyer, from a political view to see how they're going to execute it. I can see, you can see this a mile away, how they're going to execute it.
Mm-hmm.
How on one side of your mouth you can say it's time to get tough on crime, and then on the other side say we're releasing all the criminals, and if you commit vehicular homicide, if you kill somebody with a car, the police cannot detain you. With vehicular homicide? I mean, somebody get mad at somebody and upset, and you know our people, you know, we'll start spreading it around the corner. You know you can hit somebody with a car and not get locked up, right? I mean, this is what, listen, I've seen people in North Philadelphia saying, hey, they broke in the store, the back of the window's open, this is snatch and grab, you can get what you want right now. I've seen, this is regular conversation with people who aren't criminals.
Yeah.
So you know our people know the law when it comes to getting off on things. And they're going to have that conversation in the community. Listen, he didn't come home last night. I'm tired of him. And you know they got this new law where you can actually run somebody over with a car and not get locked up, girl. What? Yeah, Tanya did it yesterday. That's how it's going to be out here, Elder Lawyer. You mean Tanya, she's sitting on the steps, she's doing here? She ran him over. Listen, I'm going to tell you, girl, that's what's going to be going down. Read that last piece again.
Yes, sir. Verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
Come on.
They shall be like mad men, sparing none.
They shall be like mad men. What?
Sparing none.
Sparing none. This is Bible prophecy, folks. Bible prophecy. This is engineered criminality, folks. It's going to work on both sides. It's going to help purge the people they're trying to get rid of, so that the people they let in can have a place to stay and become the new constituency that so that they can have the voting power we used to have. That's the first thing that they're going to be able to achieve, getting rid of our people. At the same time, they're going to be able to demonize us and use the crime rate as a pretext to bring in more military help against us to finish the job.
Mm.
Let me tell you, if you keep pulling out the same old trick over and over and over again, eventually our people are going to pick up on it. Okay? So, I mean, I know they think we're stupid, but eventually we'll look at it and say, you know what? It felt like we've been through this trick before. So it's time for those who believe in God and believe in the Most High to move out of the way. Follow his law. Watch where we're going. Right. Watch how we operate, especially after January 1st. They gave us the clock. They told everyone when the clock will strike midnight. It's the purge, folks. Outright the purge. And they putting it under the guise of prison reform. So this is let me tell you, this is a preemptive step politically. They're transitioning out of the police into a new form of law enforcement without telling anyone. They're transitioning. Folks, don't forget, folks, they transitioned from the KKK to the police force. So anytime our people become politically savvy and begin to ask the right questions and ask for the right things that will help free us, or at least have us contend on the same level as others who are privileged, they switch up the police forces. The law enforcement. Automatically, they switch it up. Well, it's about to go from police to military. And don't forget, under the Patriot Act, now this was under the Republicans, George Bush, they made it where what? The local police, the state police, and the military can now coincide and operate one with another and trade in information to ward off terrorism. There was really fusing all forces into one. So the transition now will be okay, since we've already put the foundation in place where all three can operate together. Now we're at a place where now, boom, domestic terrorism, criminality, and now we need international help now. We need NATO to come in and who can work with our local as well as our state, federal, and our military to fight crime. Because what they're going to start telling people is drive-bys and regular crime that they're engineering, like I'm just telling you, will be switched. They're going to change the verbiage, Elder Lawyer, to terrorist activity. Watch. It's going to move from gang violence to terrorism. Watch. And that's going to be the trick. Right. Because now, that's right, they can detain you under military law that was passed for Guantanamo Bay and what we thought was for Al Qaeda overseas. Watch what I'm telling you. They already showed you they can switch the laws up at any time to get whoever they would like. And I always use R. Kelly as an example. RICO charge used to be for people for drug cartels. So they can switch it up anytime they want. Just got to change the verbiage. Oh, yeah. Oh, a girl flew over to Chicago to see R. Kelly. Okay, they went across state lines. Oh, that's a RICO charge. Oh, y'all didn't know that he wasn't arrested for pedophilia? Y'all didn't know that? It's a RICO charge. So they can switch it up. You're going to start hearing the news change their verbiage on criminality. No longer will it be gang war. It's going to be labeled terrorism. Watch. Watch it. Elder Lawyer, anything you have to say before we transition?
Yes, sir. Just one scripture, and then we can transition. This is 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, and the 3rd verse, and you can elaborate.
Okay.
All right. I find it funny that they call this the safety bill, and we know what the Bible tells us about when they say peace and safety. I'm going to read this real quick. In 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
So every time they say peace and safety, that's usually a message to those who understand the lingo amongst the politicians. Peace and safety means more death and destruction is coming. Whatever they say, no, it's the reverse. Whatever they tell you, no, it's the reverse. And guess what? Once you see the trends on how they continue to manipulate, lie, and deceive our people into supporting our own demise, I don't think that it could have gone any other way. What better person to have in position as President of the United States than the one who was responsible for locking up and destroying a whole generation of men, of black men in particular in our communities? What better guy to do it? But he would not have been able to do that. It was a tag team without the Pied Piper. Without the Pied Piper. How are we gonna get these niggers to vote for this guy? The Republicans looking pretty strong. Oh yeah, I think we got our man Arsenio in the bag. Let's call Arsenio up. You know what I mean? Black people love Arsenio. Okay, well, real quick. Teach Slick Willie how to play the sax. Them niggers love that. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. They had the whole thing planned, folks. They're all intertwined. Hollywood, the politicians, they're all in it. Got the reform bill working over here. We got the drug cartels cooking up the crack over there. And it's funny, Elder Lawyer, how they got a new series out, and they got the brother from England playing really Freeway Ricky Ross. It's called White something. It's called what is called Whitefall.
You talking about Snowfall?
Snowfall, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that stuff is. Snowfall, right? Snowfall, right? And it's deep how that whole thing was orchestrated, and they've switched the story. Now they're making us believe, or they're trying to ship the narrative that a black guy from California was really behind the whole crack epidemic that destroyed all of our people. That this one guy is really the face of the destructive, I would say, concoction or ingredients for crack cocaine. When we all know, allegedly, that there's clandestine letter people behind all of that who test LSD and all that during Woodstock and all. And they're going to try to make us believe that some Negro from California came up, you know, with cooking crack cocaine with baking powder. Let me tell you, folks, they always flip the script to blame it on us. And it's deep how they do it. They socially engineer us in a community that they know will have what? Financial deprivation. They create the deprivation. And automatically you're going to get people who's trying to survive, who eventually would be willing to do anything to get out. But I digress.
Yes, sir. Just two more quick things. One quick scripture and a statement off of what you just mentioned about that show in particular. I also don't think it's any coincidence that in the past few years, all of the, I guess you would say, black TV shows have been that same exact narrative of drug dealers, murderers, killers, and given a visual exaltation to that particular lifestyle at the same time that resources are drying up, the same time that desperation is setting in, selling this particular lifestyle to the next generation. So that's one point I wanted to make there. But one last scripture I wanted to read as well, just as wisdom in operating in this time. This is Ephesians 5:15.
Go on.
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Because the days are evil. So we must walk circumspectly. We must walk with the full understanding that, guess what? You may be up walking in this area, could be high crime that can actually find you. Watch what you're doing. Keep your head on a swivel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep your head on a swivel. So I think, Elder Lawyer, before I go on, someone was asked to come into the Zoom real quick. I guess they had an opposing view or a question to ask. Hold on 1 second. Okay, Natalie, make sure if you're going to come on, you must have your video and your audio, Natalie. So make sure you come in with your audio. Natalie, you there? Are you there? Okay, well, Natalie, you're going to have to come in with your audio and video. I'm going to remove you. Come in with your audio and your video. Now, you must come in with your audio and your video. If you were asked to come in, that means that you had a dissenting view, or you had something that you needed to speak directly with me with. So if you don't come in with the video and audio, we're going to have to block you. We're going to have to send you into gigabyte land. If you have a statement to make that could be offensive or trying to troll in our comments, then you have to put a face behind your statement. And that's how we're going to do it from now on. We're just not going to just block you. We're going to allow you to come in and say what you have to say to us, showing your face like we show ours. Or gigabyte land. All right, Elder Lawyer. Because that really show forth, that really lets you know what brothers and sisters are about. Who's willing to operate strictly anonymous in the darkest where they show their courage. All right. One second, or lack thereof. All right, hold tight. Before I open up the lines real quick, we're not going to be up all night tonight. Before I open up the lines, if you ask to come in, please, you must come in and that's right. You must hit the microphone and say, I want to come in with my device's audio first. And when you get in, hit the video. It looks like a little camera, okay? So if you have a view that you're trying to come that's dissenting or disruptive, you need to bring that to us directly. We have Zoom now, which will give you the opportunity to speak to us, not disrupt the audience, those who are in the comments. All right. Before I go, Elder, before I open up the lines, I want to open the lines for those who would like to chime in on our discussion. I would like to say, Elder Lawyer, of course, you know, this coming weekend begins the Feast of Tabernacles. So it's going to be a blessed week where the brothers and sisters will be out there, will be dwelling in booths. We'll be dwelling in booths outside for the whole week. 8 days, 7 nights, okay? So we'll be doing our Sabbath from there, all of that. It's going to be a good experience. Eventually, like in the wilderness, we'll be in the booths again, all right? So it's going to be those who are in their local churches. We already have that arranged. So this is not where someone who's not a part of the church can just wander in. It's baptized members within a congregation. I wanted to put that out there. And the bishops are overseeing that. One thing in particular, we do have people that are in the congregation that have to work during the week. And I wanted to put that out there real quick. And I understand, you know, that you can only come on Sabbaths or whatever the case might be. And I wanted to let you all know, especially the one where we'll be, brothers and sisters, is that the way the person, is a brother from Colombia and he owned the grounds there and he has it per person who comes in. Well, the payment is per person. And they already got that set up for those who paid for their plot to stay on the land. All right. If you're going to come in on the weekend, okay, keep in mind, that's their campground. We don't own it. One day we probably own something where we can do camping. We don't have that now. But as of now, if you come on the weekend, because this man who we've been working with for years, have his land for purchase, I guess it's going to be a small amount that you have to pay to get onto the land, okay? If you can't afford that, just make sure you reach out to the Bishop Amath, and see what we can arrange if you can't afford it so that we can help you there, at least come there on the Sabbath if necessary, okay? But keep in mind, this is just for people who can't come during the week, but still want to go out to the Sabbath for each, for this Sabbath and the following. Okay, I wanted to put that out there publicly. All right, we have no control over how he run his land. That's him, and so I'm just saying that if you're one of the brothers or sisters who can only come for the Sabbath, we understand it. But the guy is charging like $10 or something to come onto his land. He probably thinking we're trying to sneak somebody on to camp. You know how people are, but I digress. All right. And also I wanted to mention also that we're going to be doing sisters meetings, discussing the dynamic of family. The sisters are going to be there, and we're going to talk about the dynamic of how they looking to destroy families, and how they're using feminism and all that, and how women can now put on their femininity and take back their original position on earth. Okay. And because really they're teaching our sisters how to really operate in this earth contrary to their own nature. Okay. And through that, they can't help some of them but be angry and all of these things, because the world have them doing things women just shouldn't do. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about family. I'm going to have a men meeting strictly with the men. I'm going to have that discussion. All right. And we're going to have a lot of good, great talks. And the whole thing is we're going to set it from the beginning. Okay. This world have turned things upside down and made men believe that our first goal is to have a girl. But that's not the goal. The goal is nation and name. So we must build ourselves first in order to have a dowry to bring families together. Right? And we're going to talk about that. You just can't go get a girl and leave her family out. It doesn't work that way. You must honor the family to get a wife. So many people out there talking about polygamy and this, that, and the other, which is utterly ridiculous. There's nothing new. I've been hearing this since I came up in the 90s. But what people are not saying, they're not talking about none of the laws pertaining to it. They're not talking about honoring the family. They're not talking about the dowry. They're not talking about anything. They're just talking about let's get it, and that's marriage. Conveniently leaving everything out. And the fact that you got to have something to qualify for a woman. And that's not talking about more than one. One. You got all these people talking about having all these women and all that. And then you say, okay, where's the deed? Where's the house or the place with your name on it? So it all comes down to, no, you can't excuse that type of behavior. You have to be a man then. For one, let alone two. So Jacob already had it together. He worked 7, then 14 years. So he had it together. He worked for what he wanted. The woman came last. After he was able to build what? A financial foundation. He had a foundation he had to build, and the woman came as a prize, as a reward for his hard work. And their father was blessed. The family was blessed. And I'm going to be discussing that and more, because Israelites, we had a lot of people think that you getting a girlfriend is getting, no, all that is trash. Okay? The Bible make it clear that it's not you lusting or falling in love with this girl more so than making it right with her family first to see if you qualify. See? To see if you qualify. You got people, I'm going to tell you, living in the basement of their cousin's house talking about they got 3 wives. Insane. But I digress. I'm not even going to talk about that anymore. It's ridiculous even talking about it. And people are bringing this up like it's a new topic or something. Ridiculous. Where's the dowry at? That's in the law.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm sorry. There's one thing I want to say on that.
Go ahead, Lloyd. I'm saying no one talks about the dowry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, usually when this stuff is brought out, it's brought under the auspices of us getting back to the culture of our forefathers. Well, the reality is that we lived in the East where they still keep some of that culture of the quote unquote forefathers. And in those places, as you mentioned, it takes a lot to get one woman, let alone 2 women or 3 women, or whatever the case may be. You can't get one woman unless you have it together over in the East.
Yeah, we've been there. You can't get one woman unless you got it together. You have to have a bank account. You got to have a flat for the woman. And you have to have money for the family that have raised her to help meet your future. So now you're invested now. You're not going to readily let a woman go with all that investment. Now you're invested. See? So a lot of these people, They trying to bring up topics as if it's hot button. It's utterly ridiculous. It is cut and dry too. They trying to make it look like the Gathering of Christ Church came up with something. No, the Bible gives you the rules on that. What do you have in your name that you can give to her family and a foundation so that she can help meet and grow your life? Okay? You have to respect her family first because they raised her. Now, if she was good enough for you to desire to help meet your legacy, then that comes with a cost. And the Bible calls that a dowry. And on top of that, and I mentioned it before, the family, what you're doing is you're bringing forth, you're actually tying in two families. You just can't get her and not let the family know that this is the arrangement their child is going under. You gotta you go there with your wife and your family, and you go knock on her daddy's door and say, listen, I want your daughter to join all of this over here. And here's my two over here, and I want your daughter to join this. And on top of that, I'm gonna pay you a dowry for that. How would you like me to do? How would you like that, sir? How would you like me for your son-in-law? Ridiculous. But I digress. But we're going to be talking to the young men. It's going to have a great conversation to say, listen, brother, we're going to show you how you can build yourself quick in the Most High first. And at that time, after you build, you can decide. You can decide who qualifies for your building. Okay, you don't have to chase any girls or chase people. You build yourself in the Most High, and guess what? You will have your choice of a good woman, and her father would be proud to have you as a son-in-law. We have to get it back. We have to start talking. We have to go back to the way it used to be, because guess what? Like I said last night, heaven is coming to earth. And it's never too late to set up proper order. Right? All right, let's open up the lines real quick. Let me open up the lines. All right, you're doing good with that. If anybody want to come in, I guess they can come in. If not, Gigabyte Land. Okay? I heard some people talking about, some guys talking about us and this, that, and the other. You need our church to get, they need us to get recognition. You don't need to talk about us. If what you're saying is what God say, you don't have to mention us. Use the Bible. What you trying to convince somebody to the contrary as if we came up with something new? No. God said. That's right. God said, let a wife have her own husband and let the husband have his own wife. Hold up. God said that you must take steps. You must have something before stepping to a woman. And you must step to her father. If you want to use the Bible. Okay? You can't use the modern day pimp game that we learned in America to get a woman. The pimp game isn't scripture. And it's never too late to do it right. And that's what forgiveness is for. We were all shaped in iniquity and done things wrong. We didn't know God's law. We thought that, just get a girl, and we'll figure it out as it goes. But now these are people who claim to know the Bible now. If you know the Bible, you know there's rules to this, right? 1 second here. Let's open up the lines. And the Bible says, I say that the Bible. And the Bible also said that you cannot forsake the wife of your youth. You cannot forsake the wife of your youth. So let's not talk about 2 or 3. Let's talk about the one. All right. That means, what do they think on that? Or what do she think on that? Another thing we're going to do during the academy. During the Feast of Tabernacle. During the week, we're going to also, while we're out there, we're going to set up a table and we're going to launch, that's right, your rocks, lion bread. Lion bread, Christ-led clothing. Hey, I think I got a sweatsuit. Let me see. Check out the sweatsuit. One moment. I'm going to be wearing this thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Elder Lawyer. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Uh-huh. I need y'all to check it out because it has the swipe on the pants, right? The sweatpants. But check out the hoodie. The hoodie. Right? Yeah, I'm ready for that. This coming weekend. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I Am Royal Fashions. We launching I Am Royal Fashions with this. I need y'all to check this out. With Lion Bread with Elder Yarack. Lionborn.
There once was a people whose men roared like lions and their women were full of fire. But where did they go?
This right here for all the righteous and doing it for the kingdom, you know what I'm
There it is. Lionborn. Look for it, brothers and sisters. I'm going to tell you. This is how Israel do it. This is how it's done. And all praises be to the Most High. It's so good to get behind and back brothers and sisters' ideas. The Most High put something in the spirit in a brother or sister, and guess what? It comes to life. It comes to life. And I'm going to tell you, I believe this is going to be something real big, real big. So during the tabernacle, we're going to have, Yarack is going to have his table out there. My son Azel going to help work it. And whoever want to get lion bread, come on through. Now, after the tabernacle is when we're going to launch it online for everyone. Sweatsuits, women gear, women hoodies, everything. Children wear. Just stay tuned. All right. So let's open up the lines so we can talk about this. The Purge of Babylon. Have you noticed anything in your particular neighborhoods? And what do you have to say on this particular topic? Also, I want to say that we're in week 4 of our Hebrew and Bible Academy. Who is Edom is coming up this coming Sunday. Subsequent to that, we're going to be going into, that's right, the priesthood of the sons of Zadok. The priest, and it's going to be called the priest of Zadok, or the mysteries of the Essenes. Brand new lesson week after that. We're going to go into way more. We got 4 or 5 new lessons for this academy starting week 5. Hope to see you there. Okay. We have the discussion on man and woman, men and women against operating against their nature. That's going to be a lesson. So I'm going to move from the tabernacles with that discussion and eventually going to move that into a lesson in the academy. Okay. Go to historytimes.org. And yes, brothers and sisters, I am excited. You're going to see me during the whole duration during this tabernacle. So it's going to be fun. All right, let's go. Let's open up Blog Talk. All right, let's see if Elder Ramar is holding it down. And he is. Yes. Thank you, Ramar. All right, let me call in. I can't stay on too long tonight, folks. All right. So we'll answer a few calls. You know. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Better yet. Yep.
Blog. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Unmuted.
All right, I'm unmuted. Thank you, Elder Ramar. We have Andre with a comment. Brother Andre.
Yes, sir. Big shalom, Elder. How you doing today, sir?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia. Talk to me.
Is that high? Yes, sir. Profound information which you're bringing forth. When I was at Norfolk State, we used to have debates on which president really destroyed the black community the most, whether it be Ronald Reagan or Bill Clinton. And just profound information that you brought forth. And it's just one scripture, because I know you can't be before as long. There's one scripture I want to bring out just to kind of shape the mindset that these people have when it comes to not understanding the judgment of the Most High. Is Ecclesiastes 8:11 when it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of man is fully set to do evil. And I try to tell our people all the time, understand that just because we don't see the Most High execute the sentence speedily, it doesn't mean that execution isn't coming. Like the Most High, like you said, the Most High is at the point where he has to step in because we're prone to trust the liar. We're prone to trust soothsayers. We're prone to trust these people when these people want their foot on our neck at every chance. So once again, elders, profound information. I recommend all the saints read Ecclesiastes chapter 8. A lot of good information in there, but I'll yield with that. Is these people are just evil.
Well, thank you. When you said that there was a debate on who was the most destructive between the two, Bill,
yes, sir.
Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan, and
Ronald Reagan.
Okay, and what was the consensus?
The consensus was Ronald Reagan was the worst, but the consensus was Bill Clinton was the one black people. On paper, Ronald Reagan did worse, but Bill Clinton was actually the worst because we trusted him more. It's almost like our people, like I said, we're prone to trust the liars, so we rather somebody lie to our face versus somebody just tell us straight up that they don't like us. It's almost like the Donald Trump and Joe Biden issue. When people don't want to face Donald Trump because they'll say, well, Donald Trump is a racist, I'd rather have a man in my face tell me his intention than have Joe Biden stab me in my back. So it was kind of that situation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, it was destructive under Ronald, too. Just say no.
Absolutely.
They allow the crack and other things to run ragged in our communities. Only for Nancy to come out. I think Nancy Reagan talking about just say no.
Yep, that was Nancy. And then in 1986, the Jab Safety Child Act was signed. That was Ronald Reagan. So getting all our children jabbed up.
Look at that. So they get us all jammed up with all their solutions and mess us up, destroy us chemically within our community, giving us sicknesses or what have you. Then they come with the saxophone guy to lock us up, to finish the job. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You said he had 30 days of practice.
All right. You checked them out how they put the saxophone under the rest of the music, right? That guy didn't know how to play no sax.
Yeah. How they put him down there.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Andre. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, bless you, Elder.
All right. All right. Let's go to the next call. Stan, 281 area code Stan.
Shalom, my Lord. How are you this night?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahaya. How are you?
All praises. I'm all right. I'm a bit concerned, man, with this news, this letting loose of the what they would call ne'er-do-wells coming on the 1st. It really has me thinking, because as a man, I know that men already have an innate nature of, okay, I'm going to fight to the death if need come, and things of that nature. We, as a man, we have that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of the sisters right now and the children. This is going to be this purge.
Yeah.
This purge is going to be something serious, man. And all of our sisters and these children that are in these like group homes and I forget the term, but the system, the child protective system, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be something serious, man. Like, they don't have any hedge of protection, a lot of them, and they're just out living a whimsical, and it hit it very hard. And as a man, I already have it in my mind. Okay, if it comes to it, it comes to it. War is war. Praise the Most High. I live to serve. But I'm really concerned about the sisters out here.
Yeah.
And I my heart just, it weeps, because I'm walking in life, and I'm seeing just how unprepared we are as a people for warfare, including the men.
Yeah.
How unprepared we are for how serious of a time we're in. The multitude of death that has come, and we just take it so lightly. We're just living whimsically. I don't think a lot of us even think, those of us even in this walk, in this truth, I don't think we really understand the magnitude of what is to come. And that comes with, let me put the seatbelt on. That comes with us living in such a sweet time where we've never seen warfare here. America hasn't seen warfare on its land before like that, like where people are trying to kick down your door, things of that nature. You brought up something earlier today. It's going to start with the wicked that they're releasing into the streets. It's going to start with the wicked. Not saying that there aren't brothers incarcerated who deserve and need.
Hey, brother, you have a lot to say, and it's what you're saying is impactful, but there's typing and everything going on.
Hello?
Yeah, it sounds like there's typing and everything going on there.
No, I'm not. My phone is actually laying flat. I'm sorry about that. I'm driving at the moment, but
okay.
Hopefully can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better. It sounded like someone was typing, but go on. I'm sorry.
My apologies.
You talk about the dynamic that I was talking about, that they're gonna use the criminality in our community and releasing the prisoners as a smokescreen, the Trojan horse, so that now they can come in and cause more criminality, probably or allegedly, and blame it on the criminals.
It's gonna get real greasy in these streets, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna get real greasy in these streets. You brought up earlier that, those of us who have been kind of acclimated to how the streets work and was out here living however we was living for the Most High Savers, we know how grimy it gets. We know about, such and such got set up, thought he was gonna have a nice date with Keisha. Come to find out, we going to his funeral next week.
Yeah.
It happens. These things actually happen in real life. And I think it's going to be a real flux of this type of crime and these type of things going on when they release the hounds, so to speak.
Yeah.
When they release that smoke screen. And I really would like to give a message to our sisters, especially those with children, even those of young age who may be listening. Get under that hedge of protection, man.
Yeah.
And follow suit, do what you need to do. But you're going to need a hedge of protection in these times.
Yeah.
If a man is going to need a team in these times, how much more would a woman need a hedge of protection out here while everything's going down?
Exactly.
I yield. I'm not going to be the
all right. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, it's a lot of things going on in the background, but I was able to get to the gist of what he was saying here. And the reality is, I mean, they have baited sisters all the way out. All right, with this nonsense, it's femininity, saying I don't need a man, whatever the case is, and now it's coming around full circle that sisters are starting to realize that they were duped. A lot of sisters through this Instagram and meeting up are coming up missing. They're coming up missing now. So sisters got to be very careful out there. All right. Once you're online, like Kanye said, you belong. He says, listen, women don't belong to us, brothers. They belong to the gram. And they're tracking all type of tracking devices on these devices. And sisters are going to be lured, from up under their safety. So just be very careful out there. I'm telling you, and I'm glad the brother's saying it. I'm glad he's saying it because, hey, when it comes to, they didn't even say if they're going to let hardened criminals loose. Don't forget, during the time of Katrina, under that dome in the Katrina, brothers was actually e-parring backward, rap with an E on the end, girls behind the bleachers, at the dome in Louisiana. And the cops couldn't do anything. So if you think if they're saying that they're going to let those of vehicular homicide go, and those who, through armed robbery, they're going to let them go and can't detain them. I mean, suppose a man was a raper girl. I mean, guys going to be able. They're going to be taking girls. I'm gonna tell you, going up, trying to pump gas by yourself. These guys at the gas station ain't gonna be saying, "But let me get your gram, let me get your number." I'm gonna tell you, that's where we going. Be very careful. Get under a hedge, like Stan said. Lisa has a comment. How you doing, Lisa?
Shalom, Elder. How are you tonight?
I'm blessed by the best, Lisa. How are you?
Great, Elder. Great. Just wanted to make 2 quick points, and then I wanted to get your feedback. So I was talking to an attorney friend of mine, and he was saying how, most of the attorneys of color are just so upset with all of this stuff going on with immigration, like you brought out. And he was saying that there's about 100,000 Ukrainian refugees that were led into the country that was given TPS, which is temporary protective status. They were given funds, money. There were no, let me see how to say this, no requirements, meaning what's going on in the world. They didn't need any of the requirements. They didn't need anything to come in. They just came in. Whereas people of color coming in, it's now being made mandatory that you have to get the requirements.
The jab.
Mandatory. Yes, jab. I didn't want to say it. So, yes, you have to have the jab in order to obtain the green card now. That's a mandatory requirement now. But the 100,000 refugees coming in did not need anything. And it brings me to my other point. I don't know if you're familiar on what VOA is doing. I don't know if I can say the name, Bank of America, came out with a new program now allowing so-called minorities to be able to get housing with no money down, no credit, no seasoning of funds, no sourcing of funds. If you don't have the down payment, they will give you grants up to $15,000 to be able to get the house. You would have to the only requirement is you have to go through classes for HUD. And once you go through the classes for HUD and get your certificate, you can then qualify for these mortgages that they're giving. Other qualifications is the house has to be in a minority area. You only can buy in certain areas. Right now, they haven't rolled it out to all the cities and all the states yet, just certain states right now. But my thing is, with what you're saying about immigration and the luxury hotels that they're putting certain persons in and all this stuff, and using this disguise of minority to get these housing, it's going to be another bait and switch where it'll be our face for the program, but other people, other races will be able to get these housing with nothing. Maybe to go in these communities and gentrification takes place. I don't know what is the motive behind it, because my husband was an assistant manager of Bank of America.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, because he worked in a branch in a minority area, and it was different for his branch compared to other branches. So it's just weird now. All of a sudden, they're opening their doors for these mortgages to be given to minorities, so-called minorities. But when you look under the minorities, there's so much other people under there. It used to be just us, but it's not like that anymore. It's the password people, the LG, all that. So it's just a bunch of other people now that's going to be able to qualify under the disguise of minorities can get these mortgages. So I don't know if you heard about that. I just wanted to get your take on it to see what you thought about it, because it's very weird. All of a sudden, they're opening up their doors to minorities getting these mortgages with nothing. I mean, take a class and basically you can get a house.
I'm gonna tell you this. I tell you what. This conversation isn't being had, in the trenches of North Philadelphia. I know that. I'd have been heard about it. And, I'm plugged in with North Philadelphia, and I'll tell you this: it'd be everybody and their cousin and them, all down there. They would spend a night in the class to get free housing, especially on the level you're talking about. We're not talking about some regular housing here. We're talking about housing. But thank you, sister. I appreciate it. All right. And tell your husband I will call him soon. I've been busy, but I'm going to reach out to y'all soon. Okay.
No problem, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. Shalom. For those who didn't know, the administration before the election told Ice Cube that they couldn't give black people anything. They had talked to black people after the election. Just get out and vote. But right now, New York Post, New York City spends $300 million annually. That means every year, to house migrants in hotels. Not just any hotels, luxury hotels, folks. Check this out. And right around the corner from there, Americans, people who were born here, our people, are sleeping on the streets. $300 million a year, but they told Ice Cube with his plan for Black America, to bounce. There go your tax dollars your tax dollars in use right there. All right? That's how much they love us. But guess what? We have to find out through the poll we're doing in the Academy. Week 5, we're doing the poll. What is the next trigger to get our people emotionally invested in this election? Could it be, number one, a racial shooting with a white cop against a black man or black girl? That's number one. All right, that'll be the first one. Number 2, hey lawyer, I had a few of them. Did I write them down?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you had the
number 2.
Yeah.
What was number 2?
I think number 1 was regarding Brittany Griner.
Yeah. The Brittany Griner release. showing that Brittany Griner released, showing that, let me see here. I think I got all 4 written down. Showing that Biden is not for imprisoning black people, that he was able to help release a black gay woman from Russia. Right? Number 2 is the Brittany Griner release being celebrated as some minority hot button topic or some minority accomplishment for black people. Brittany Griner, a shooting in our community with a cop against a black person. I had 2 other ones.
Stimulus check.
Oh yeah, that stimulus check might burn it all out. You talking about a stimulus check with a Popeye chicken sandwich next to it? It's over. Extra pickles. You do this thing. A stimulus check. That stimulus check may be the one that tip it over. But we have to find. Or last but not least, Trump says something racially inflammatory. Trump can say something at the wrong time about a week before the election that's racially inflammatory attached to another politician that they're seeking to defeat. It's going to be Trump, Brittany Griner, right, being released. All right. A white cop shoot a black man or black woman. No justice, no peace. And a stimulus check. So I think that stimulus check gonna do it. I don't know, but we're gonna see. We're gonna poll it in the academy, and we're gonna take that all the way up to the election, and then whoever have the most as far as lead way in the news, CNN, that'll let us know the winner. Right? The one story they stick on that they feel that's really urging us emotionally, because we don't vote based on actual tangibles. Okay? CNN will stick on it. If they stick on it, okay, that's the one. And we'll put that number all together. Boom. We're gonna do a drawing, because there's gonna be so many people, and we're gonna draw like between 5 or 6 people and give them some historical books and all types of things I have as the Trump card. The Trump card, yeah, that's a good one. The Trump card is what we'll call it. All right, and we're gonna do a drawing, and we're gonna give out some historical gifts, Bibles, all types of stuff. And I wonder who's gonna win this. Which one you think gonna do it, Elder Lawyer? Personally, you think? I think that stimulus check.
It's a tough one to call. I guess the closer we get to it, the more we'll kind of see which thing is being played up. But it's kind of tough to call it right now based on all this going on.
All right. I'm going to tell you, if they say they giving out stimulus checks at Popeye's Chicken, that's going to be with the chicken sandwiches, that's going to be the one. And you know what? A lot of people are going to be like, it seems like that's offensive. Why are you saying that? You playing on the racial tropes that the other races are saying about us. You know why I'm saying this? I'm saying it purposely. And know why I'm saying it this way? Because this is what they think about it. This is how little they think of us. And it's up to you. It's up to us to prove them wrong for the first time. It's up to us not to fall into the tropes or the stereotypes. Because that's how little they think of us. That's why I'm using these examples.
And it's not too far-fetched. You remember during the whole campaign, they were offering what? Free food, free marijuana. These were the things they were offering as a tool or a device to compel you to go out and deal with the procedure. So these things are not far-fetched as far as what they actually do, showing how little they actually think about our intelligence.
Exactly. They think they can just throw out anything for a vote. And guess what? Let me tell you, votes cost something. Outright. People are getting billions of dollars in budgets and programs because you go out there and do something while our people suffer. And every other race of people understand this. The Asian constituency, they know when they go to vote, they're getting a package for them. They're getting something that's going to benefit their people, their towns, their financial stake in this, what we would call the harlot. We're the only people who tend to deal with this political thing emotionally. Oh man, I want to vote, man, because this is why our people, I want to vote because our foreparents off the boat couldn't. 919 area code. And then start bucking their eyes and throw the sand on the floor and start shimmying. We done with this. Right? Judah has a comment.
Shalom, brother. Shalom.
How are you doing?
It's great topics, man. Great topics I hear you talking about.
Praise the
and
Most
it's like I looked up the word purge.
Yeah.
And one of the last definitions is to get rid of. To get rid of things. Like we've gone through multiple purges.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we're struggling to grab hold of our Hebrew roots means it got purged from us.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get it back. And it's like one of the things also that we're trying to get back are the skills we used to have. A man used to be taught to do things to generate revenue, to protect himself, to provide for his family, to build his home. And with that man working, there was something he had which was called an apprentice. And that apprentice was more than likely his son. He was teaching his son.
Exactly.
And at the same time, his son was generating revenue. So when that son became a man, he would already have a little something put together for a dowry to get his wife. He would already have the skill to build a home to provide for that wife.
Exactly. Good
but
point.
Today, a young black man will get to the age of 18, and not only will he not have no skills, he won't have no income set up, so he's not prepared to take no wife. That's why I agree when you had brought out that we need to be focusing in on us first.
Yeah.
We need to have the Most High first in our life, and with that spiritual knowledge that the Most High gives us, He'll direct our paths, like the back of your hoodie said. He's going to direct our paths to go the way we need to go so that when the time comes to get that wife, we're ready for it. We're a man of the Lord.
Exactly.
I'm lion bred. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And now I'm ready to obtain her because I've learned fear of the Most High. I've learned love and honor for my neighbors, for my mothers and fathers. And it's something my wife brought up a few minutes ago was the elders. And when I say elders, I don't mean, like you, brother. I mean the old folks in our communities who don't have anybody protecting them. They don't have their own people. They can't look down on the younger generation and say, you guys got us. Because you guys is in turmoil.
Yeah.
And you already know, Daniel tell you that we're going to be living in a time that it's never been like this before. So as knowledge increase, our perspective and our perception of the world around us is supposed to evolve. We're supposed to know that you can't live the way you did in the 80s or in the 90s or in the 2000s. This 2020 period and forward is nothing we've experienced before.
Yeah.
I can't take my wife bowling or to the movies without having to worry about a mass shoot or some craziness going on in Babylon.
Yeah.
So now it's like I got to let go of a lot of worldly things. That's why I love when brothers like you organize tabernacles and different events for us to participate in. So as we let go of the worldly things, it's not as if we got nothing. No, we got a whole new culture to embrace.
Oh yeah.
We got roots that we got to grab hold on. Something that's ours that we can pass on to our children.
Yeah.
That's why I love the different topics that y'all be bringing out, though, man. Keep it going, bro.
Thank you, my
Appreciate
brother.
taking
Bless
the
you.
call.
All right, Thawada,
Shalom.
Judah, you brought it today. I
Right.
really appreciate you. Shalom. You brought it.
Sure.
Yeah. And not only that, even with the tabernacles, Elder Lawyer, you know what we're going to do? We're going to be we're going to be instilling in these children at tabernacles memories they'll never forget. It's going to be memories. I guess he went to the bathroom. Memories. I remember going out cookouts. We used to go out, go to Baltimore, Bmore, and they used to go. You know, they used to have a whole strip where, you know, they had like the go music. You know what I mean? They had their own type of sound. You know what I mean? Over in Baltimore, and my mother and father used to bring us down there in the D.C. area and all that. No, not it was called the go-go or something. It was some type of good music where people playing, man. And I remember the barbecues, and we go and you get the cotton candy. Well, we're gonna try to establish those type of memories amongst the tabernacles, music, barbecues, you know, games. You know what I mean? We have our chess games out there, playing chess, and over there got Monopoly games, and just, I mean, this is going to be just a family time like it used to, like we used to do. You know, that old family tradition. All right, so it's bringing that back, right? In a world of chaos and confusion, allow ourselves to take a respite and enjoy one another like family, right? All right, let's go to the next call. Let's see. Danye has a comment. Are you related to Andre Danye?
No, I'm not related. Well, yes, we are. We in the same body, so Yasharala. So yeah, that's my brother for real.
All right,
Yeah.
how you doing, Danye?
Kind. Yes, how you doing? My name is Danye Yasharala. You formerly known as Corn Pop, if you remember. You know me.
All right.
Yeah, I'm from Virginia. I'm in the Virginia body here, and I live in Newport News. We're in Newport News area. I'm from Newport News, and that is not as a big city as Chicago. But one thing I wanted to
my father was born there. My father was born in Newport News. Yes. I got family there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Con. Yeah, it's not a big city. It's like a mid-sized city. But what I'm trying to understand is, you know, they're highlighting on Chicago like that's the most dangerous city in America. When all in all, that's the most murders that might be there.
Yeah.
But it's not the most dangerous cities. The most dangerous cities is the mid-sized cities that, you know, every 5 miles, how much danger you should be in. See, over here in Newport News, in the Seven Cities area, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, or whatnot, even in Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, that's a little city, but a dangerous city in America. See, they'll hide behind the masses of people and go ahead and operate that way in the guise of looking out for the majority of the population. You know, and I see that. And a young guy like me of 36 years old, you know, as I look back in the 90s, I was straight in Marshall Courts, Newport News, 36th Street, in the trenches in the 90s.
Okay.
And I seen what people had did to go ahead and get some change and actually share what they got on the block. You know what I mean? But to see it, those people that had locked up beforehand, those are supposed to have been our elders that we have looked at, that if they didn't get locked up through Bill Clinton and progenitor Ronald Reagan and whatnot, they were supposed to have taught us what we have of awakening today. You know what I mean? They knew that, but for foreseeing it, the powers to be foreseeing that, they're like, I got to lock up these elders because, you know what I mean, they call it the age of Aquarius is coming up.
Yep. I
so
can see that.
I look at it in hindsight, and I understand. Okay, these people are real prestigious, but all praise be to the Most High. You know what I mean? It was only a few that came with the Maccabean era. You know what I mean? It was only a few that had, you know what I mean? What was it? I'm getting mistaken, but it was only a few of us. The Most High only needs a remnant.
Yeah, it don't take it. It doesn't take a lot of us. Okay. It just take enough of us to be on one page, unified. It only takes a small amount if we're unified. But go on, you're right.
Con. So and that comes with obedience. You know, there's a time for peace, there's a time for love, there's a time for war. But the most threat to them is that wisdom by knowing so. That's why I put really trust in the elders, you and the elders, of knowing how to maneuver of exactly what the prophecies is taking place as it's going forward. You know, ain't nobody just going to jump in Africa talking about, I'm here in Tanzania, and Tanzania has been taken over already and ran by a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we just ain't going to jump out there, you know what I mean, without the egos or whatnot like that.
Exactly.
So all praise be to the Most High, higher by Hashem Yeshaya, what, that, you know what I mean, we got the goods.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's atonement, and then it's atonement. I had my son, I had him look at the, what's it called, Birth of a Nation, and seeing what type of things our people had to go through only for educational purposes only. Because without the Holy Spirit, you'd be enraged of looking at something like that. But those are the type of things that had to come to pass for this awakening going on here today. You know what I mean? So all praise be to the Most High. I pray and all double honors to you, elders, and we'll see you soon, Zion.
Thank you, my brother. And yes, I mean the Birth of a Nation, a must see. You notice that actor, that brother's a great actor. He's been put in the witness protection program ever since that particular that movie came out. Yeah, it's like
that's crazy.
They blackballed him, but what a production! Thank you, my brother.
But what got me about that? He said we about to make it to Jerusalem.
Yeah, he knew.
He said we about to make it to Jerusalem. I said, man,
listen,
I stood up.
I need you to look. I need you to look at that again, because the scriptures that he was showing concerning the enemy.
Go ahead.
He was showing Esau as the enemy of God in the scriptures. You seen that?
Yes, I did. I paused it and showed my son. I saw my son. He's 17. So I said, "You see that right there?" And I was pausing. They hate when I do it for real, but they appreciate it at the end.
So that
they
means
hate when I pause stuff.
That
I be
means
pausing you. I be pausing movies.
Yeah, and don't forget, he had to do a lot of this with his own money. They wouldn't back him financially with this. And on top of that, if he highlighted Edom all through those scriptures, that means that the brother who produced and wrote this production and played in this production knew who Edom is, and he must know we're Israelites. He know it. So I guess that when he was in New York and going to those productions in different places, he definitely learned about the Hebrews, because you can't show these scriptures, enemies of God, as Esau and highlighting them in the movie and not know that it's, who's Israel. So he's been blackballed ever since. You know what I'm going to do when I get back from Tabernacles? We're going to have to do a review on Patreon eventually on the Birth of a Nation. Brother, you just did something for me. That's going to be a beautiful. We need to look back at that and pull out the jewels that brother showed through that production. I really appreciate it, brother.
All praise be to the Most High. Shalom to all the saints out there and the Gentiles. We soon see Zion.
All right. Bless you, my brother.
Bless you.
Okay, I only got a few more. Barakatha, I'm going to go. Lydia has a comment and a question. We're going to go through a few more, and then this concludes the broadcast. And I'll try to open it up again for phone calls. Possibly, if not this Friday, I know I have to get the Tabernacles. open it up for phone calls during the week while we're out there. And we're going to launch the Instagram where people can come in and just check in outright, just talk with us, through Instagram. So that's going to be a new way of us conversing going forward. Lydia, you have a comment and or question.
Yes, Shalom, Elder Rakashiar, and bless you, Elder Lawyer. Wow, it was a lot being said here tonight, and I'm in total agreement with everything that was being said. My question is there going to be a female lion-born sweatsuit for females at Tabernacle?
Oh, yeah, I have one right here.
You do?
Yeah, let me see. This is the female hoodie here. Now, we're not going to have, I don't know if we're going to, I'm sure we're going to have them at, not the hoodies, but we're going to have the shirts for females. But here's a female hoodie here. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
wow. I'm looking forward to Tabernacle coming this Saturday. It would be my first event, and I'm looking forward to that. Yes. My comment on the Purge of Babylon, I believe that we're living that as we speak.
Yeah.
I mean, we can definitely look at our community, and our young brothers are being shot every day. I mean, 30 and 29 years old. It's heartbreaking. And you mentioned something earlier about the crack epidemic, and I went through that, in my community.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
Yeah, because I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I grew up in South Philly, but I moved to the greater Northeast. And I remember I'm reflecting when I was working for this transportation company, and the crack epidemic just had went through that transportation company.
Yeah, decimated.
And yes, and a lot of people lost their jobs, their homes, and their families. So, when you mention that, it caused me to go back to that time, and you talked about Bill Clinton when he was president back then during the 80s and 90s, and I remember him being on Arsenio Hall, and I was one of them that voted for him because he played the saxophone, and I was a fan of Grover Washington Jr. in Philadelphia back then, and I didn't realize what I was voting for.
None of us did, though. None of us did.
No, he was totally against our community, So I'm thankful that you brought that up, because it just took me back there. But I heard the gentleman talk about how the females needs to be hedged. They need to be protected.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's true. When my doorbell rings, my husband always answers the door. I'm not answering it because I don't know what's behind it. So, we as females, we need our men to protect us.
Yeah.
And we basically need to be humble, and I'm learning that every day, to submit to my husband. It's not always easy, but I'm practicing that, and the gathering of Christ's church is helping me to do that. So, like I told you when I saw you yesterday, I'm grateful that the Most High put a spirit on you to inspire us as a people, and I just want to thank you for the Most High, and that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you, sister, and bless you, and you're welcome. All praises. And what I say, the best thank you is to do what? To finish. Ye that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, just continue to forgive and endure, and guess what? And we need to bring this family together, because when it's all said and done, it's just going to be those who are unified in the faith to depend on one another to get through this. And that's what I thank the Most High, because he made it where in this home stretch, if we choose, we don't have to run this race alone. The Most High made a body out of strangers who didn't know each other but was from the same family, Israel, to unite us at the very end for an epic ending. But that's only if we're willing to be able to operate one. The Most High is going to force us to work with one another to survive this. He's forcing us. Everyone wants to be an individual or a loner. And guess what? Christ wasn't here by himself. He had the 12. They had the 70. The 70, then the 120. Then 3,000 was baptized. We cannot do this. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. And the whole thing is, those who are operating like lone wolves and by themselves will fall. Okay? The Most High is uniting us, and he's making circumstance so that we can actually deal with one another and be patient with one another, because that's what it's going to take for us to get through this. So that's why I said, like, listen, it's good when we eat, when we eat this roll, like it says in Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, when you first get this truth, it's sweet in the mouth. Oh my goodness, we're Israel. Oh man, this is like honeydew. But when it goes into the belly, it becomes bitter, because you begin to realize the gravity of upholding the responsibility of being his people, being Israel. So it becomes bitter, because the reality of what has happened to us and what can happen to us with this knowledge becomes a reality. So I just thank the Most High, sister, for you and the church and all of you who continue to encourage us, to support the work, and also who's willing to endure into the end with us. That goes a long way. So guess what? Let's congratulate each other. And guess what? I thank everyone, but the greatest thank you is when we're at the finish line with our Savior. All right? Thank you, Lydia. All right.
You're welcome.
All right. 971.
Hello.
Hey, Sunshine. I need to bring you in a minute. I hit you prematurely. Yeah, I'm backing you out of there because I don't know how you did that. I'm gonna bring you back in a second. 9-2. Yeah, and someone don't get offended when it comes to Sunshine coming on, and I know, she's she's a happy person, and the reason why I say don't get too upset, sisters and other, when she come on and all that, because you know what, it's good that someone is coming through with a positive spirit. And I never want to discourage that. It's, there's so many angry people who don't even say hello, and we're living in a world of darkness where everyone is mean out there. So that's why I bring Sunshine in sometimes. It's because, she brings happiness. So let's not get mad when someone is bringing happiness, folks. Micaiah. We're gonna have enough
Hey,
time.
Shalom, Elder.
We're gonna have enough time, for sorrow later. I mean, January 1st, old Biden is cutting loose everything. He's releasing West Hell. Okay. Yes. Who that? Micaiah. Micaiah has a comment. Yes. I'm sorry.
Hey, Shalom, Elder. I just wanted to introduce myself. The word Micaiah means humble, and I just want to introduce myself to everybody. I'm a brother from over here in Wyoming, and I've been basically just been by myself, just been studying
Oh man.
and learning underneath you in like these past couple of years. And I've been by myself, and so I just want to reach out to a lot of the brothers and the sisters, because I know that the times it's almost ending and stuff like that. But here's a scripture I want to read with the family. It's over in Tobit chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, "But they that sin are enemies to their own life." And so, with a lot of knowledge and wisdom that you guys have, I just want to, just grasp onto it, and also, just be a part of the crew and stuff like that. I used to, Elder Urak, he baptized me back in 2019.
Look at that.
And so, I just want to get back to where I once was and stuff like that. So.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Micaiah, I'm going to have Elder Urak call you. I'm going to text him your number, and let's do it. It's time. All right?
Okay. And also, I have a lot of talents and stuff like that, and a lot of, knowledge, and like, I don't want to bottle it up to myself and stuff like that. So, I'm an Issachar brother. I know the times and the seasons and everything. I'm a wilderness survivor.
Okay.
So yeah, I just want to help.
All right. So, hey, the Most High, he has you here for a reason. So, hey, don't worry. We're gonna reach out and just do your part in the body. All right. Just
exactly.
Just
Thank
bring
you.
your gifts. All right.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you, Elder.
My brother. All right. 404 Tracy.
Hi. I like to talk about you were talking about earlier how they tried to put the crack epidemic on the Rick Ross guy.
Yeah.
If you go back to articles that were written back in the early 90s, you'll see that UCLA has studies on crack in early 70s. There was another drug dealer before Rick Ross called Thomas Reese. Nickname was Tootsie.
Okay.
And he found the crack recipe that was published, and this is all during Jimmy Carter, Democrat president, right? It was called The Pleasure of Cocaine, the book. So the actual recipe was published for us to learn how to cook it. So that by 1979, Yale told Congress we're about to have a crack epidemic. So even though it got big in the 80s, it started in California in the 70s. So when I look at what's going on right now, and I think about how we were set up, from everything from them placing the drugs in our neighborhoods to the Crips and the Bloods back in the day, if you were Hispanic, you could be a Crip or a Blood with a black person. Then all of a sudden there became, during Reagan, Joe Biden helped write another crime bill that started kicking people out of their homes and taking things from them. Things started becoming harder for people to live, harder, less places to stay. Then there became a race war to where if you were Hispanic, if you were on a Crip or a Blood with a black person, you would die. So therefore, it became a race war. They started fighting over territory, taking black homes. Then I listened to what Joe Biden said right before he became president to Al Sharpton, and then when he had that meeting, he said, y'all going to have to start getting along with the Hispanics. Here we are in another crisis to where people are getting kicked out of their homes, even though it's a pandemic, and they're bringing over all these illegals across the border, not doing anything about it. Now, most people are surprised at this new law that takes effect January 1st. But if you've been paying attention to the Fox, which a lot of people like to say is racist, that's not a new bill. It's already happened in L.A. It's already happened in New York. Fox has been telling us about this for a while, and I think the biggest difference now is a sheriff actually got on TV and talked about it. So they're going to all these major cities, and they're unleashing all this craziness that's going on. First thing came to my mind when I first heard it in L.A., because you can steal up to $900 worth of stuff per incident, meaning if you hit up 10 different stores, $900 per store, and you won't go to jail. So if you're an innocent person, you don't even think about stealing, and you just keep seeing everybody, what they call coming up, getting stuff. Now you're a part of it. So it's bringing in people who would have never, ever even thought about being criminals because it's so easy. It's a setup. So I kept saying, he's going to have another crime bill. He's doing this to bring us out, even to tempt us, people that would never have been tempted before, to do another crime bill. And guess what he said 2 weeks ago?
What's that?
There's a video out where he's sitting up there, and it's called Biden Says He's Determined to Ban Assault Weapons and Gun Crime Speech in Full. Well, in this speech he's making to people, he has a new crime bill. It's called the Safer American Plan, where he plans on putting 100,000 new police force out there. And not just that, as he's talking, when you get to the 11 minute and 20 seconds, if you can want to fast forward past it, he says it's time to get back to my old crime bill. He says it out of his mouth. He says whatever he wants to, and people still vote for him. He said that we had to deal with the Hispanics. He said that he was going to raise our taxes. That's what inflation is. He says now he's saying he's going to get back to our old crime bill. This has been happening. And if you listen to Fox, I know a lot of people are so weak they can't stand listening to what I call white sarcasm, to where if you listen to it, you'll hear they're warning us. But for some reason, we don't want to listen.
Yeah.
They warn us about everything they do, but we will listen to the other stations scream racism, 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 when they should be listening to everybody, not just one side. So he has he called it the Safer American Plan.
Made me aware when I was...
Every Republican said no. All the Republicans didn't want to do it. Well, all the Democrats, the people you vote for, they want to unleash a special force of over 100,000 new types of officers onto us. And he's saying it's time to get back to his old crime bill, which was written unfairly to the black man. It was a 100 to 1 ratio. And you have 5 grams of crack cocaine versus, which was the black man's choice because it was cheap, versus the white man's choice was pure cocaine. He could have 500 grams and he'd get the same sentence of you just having 5 grams.
Well, do me a favor, because
it's time to get back.
No, I'm gonna let you wrap it up because I get to the next call, but you brought a lot of great points here. But go on. What you want to round it out?
Well, yeah. That's what I'm pretty much saying is I felt he was going to do another crime bill, and he is doing another crime bill.
That's what he's in position for.
And he's saying it's time to get back to his old crime bill. I felt it was a setup.
Well, it's deep that that UCLA thing. I found that, and that is true that it was cooked up amongst these particular laboratories and released in our communities, allegedly. But we'll see. I'm going to play that by Dr. Ronald K. Siegel in a couple of minutes, sister. You bring forth some serious insight from the political land. Understand it from the socio-political view. You do every week. I really appreciate it. What's the name of that video What's the name of that video where he said that he needed to bring back another crime bill? What's the name of it?
It's called Biden Says He's Determined to Ban Assault Weapons and Gun Crime Speech and it's by CBS News. There's several of them, but that's the one that I got.
Okay, I'm going to look at it. I
Biden
really
says
appreciate. Thank you for the info, sister. I really appreciate it. I'm going to look into it. Okay. All right.
Okay. Enjoy.
All right.
Bye
Good-
bye.
Great information,
Muted.
man. I'll tell you what, man. Our people,
Unmuted.
our people are waking up. I praise the Most High. I don't know if this conversation and how we coming together and the meeting of minds, I don't know if this could have been possible 15, 20 years ago to the degree it is right now. I mean, so many people are plugged in. And speaking of Biden real quick, my man, you know, I knew something was going on. I knew something was going on right before the election, all due respect, to him, with this speech here. He got some black folk around him. Let's see what's going on here.
I saw that made me aware when I was in law school. Proudly for Holloway. Proudly for your dad. First African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. Everything about. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what.
And that's hey. I mean, they need to put some more RICO charges out there.
I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
There you go, the leader of the free will right there. UCLA's involvement in the crack epidemic by Dr. Ronald K. Siegel. I may do a review on this also.
We're in touch with a lot of the underground chemists who are synthesizing new compounds, and they send a lot of them to us for testing. We don't give them any feedback, but we like to monitor what's out there in the street. And by the way, our lab was the one who discovered the crack epidemic, and we discovered crack 13 years before the word was even introduced into the lexicon.
Whoa! This sister then gave me a bomb where they are admitting where crack was being tested 13 years before it was called crack. Woo! I'm gonna hold on to this. I got to go into this. So this was a calculated, alleged plan, huh? And they usually admit these things when it's too late to do anything about it. Usually that's when they admit it. It's too late to do anything. A whole community, a whole generation decimated. Then they come at the back and say, well, yeah, by the way, yeah. But I got to talk about this stuff like this on our Patreon. I mean, yeah, that was a calculated way of imploding our community. Yeah, Doc, they are admitting it. Sister, thank you for that tip. I needed that. I forgot about that. Thank you, sister. 859 area code. 859.
Hello?
Yes, 859.
Elders?
Yes.
My name is Augustus. I'm calling from Lexington, Kentucky.
Yes.
And I do want to say I've been listening to you all for several years now, and I really appreciate what you all do. And it's all I've been able to listen to in terms of worship for those years. But there's a lot that's involved in that. But I do want to comment on what you're talking about with these new bills, if I may.
Yes, sir.
But with the, I know that you mentioned the battery, the armed robbery, vehicular homicide, and murder, for instance, and all of those things obviously are things our people are usually on the butt end of, particularly things like vehicular homicide. You know how they go through our protesters, for instance. They've done things to test that already, where they run through our protesters and it seems to be an accident. Well, now it's going to be legal. You see what I mean?
Good point.
By letting these people out of the prisons, they have people thinking that it's somehow going to be the criminals that need to carry something out in terms of crime, but it won't be. The police and the military just need to go undercover, and they will handle the violence against our people. They always have. Okay? They've already placed.
Hey,
I'm
man,
sorry, go ahead.
Allegedly, let me put that out there. You know.
Yeah, I'll say allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, there are facts and history to prove that they do this, and how they infiltrate all of our movements, and how they destroy us on every level. But I want to say, connected to that is the whole defund the police government ploy. That whole thing, we don't even approach things like that by saying defund the police. That's something that they came up with, and what it did was just kind of open up the door for people to think in terms of the police being defunded when they don't show up to help you out. But they've never shown up to help us out anyway. It's always late, and they usually kill us when they get there. But the police have not been defunded. They have more money than they have ever had in history. They've got drones they're using. They've got military arms. They're like military these days when you see them. So as they do what they're doing, everything is already in place. I've been trying to warn people for decades that we're being replaced. So you have the Asians and the Mexicans and the Indians and the Ukrainians and Afghans and Africans all here, all who despise us. And we have no protection. Our men have been reduced to homosexuals, transsexuals, and so on and so forth. So, and they've also turned the black man against the black woman. So they feel like there's no resistance. Already, it doesn't even matter about the history, but even now, crimes against our people, they go without any real consequence. So the people that they have in place, it's going to be basically, it's just right now. It's just, they can run roughshod over our people, and there's nothing. They have destroyed us politically, economically, from a community standpoint, medically, educationally, through the court systems, and even in entertainment, they destroy us. All of this can be proven. It's all factual. And the thing is, like you're saying, our people are asleep. Lexington, where I live, is like Mexico right now. Those people get money. We talk about reparations and things, but those people have been getting money monthly for ages. And the proof is there. And I've seen with my own eyes some of these government checks that they get monthly, and heard from some of the Mexicans themselves about the money that they receive. But we get nothing. It's always that. And it's owed, but we will never get it from them. And I don't think we need to even assume that we will. So we have Asians here as well in Lexington in big numbers, Indians. And then there's a number, if you haven't, I know you've noticed, but there's a number of people that are strange, that are from other countries, and they're in these weird jobs. And you can tell they're the warrior classes from these places. I've been a fighter, for a lot of years, and I recognize other fighters when I see them. But I don't know where these guys are coming from, and they don't even look like they fit in. And the last thing I want to comment on, and I just want your reaction, because you and Elder Lawyer, all of you guys, man, you guys are really on point, but you seem to have a lot of insight on some of these things that a lot of people don't even really notice. But even with some of these platforms that are out here on YouTube, the black platforms, where, they're talking, like they want to do something about the situation, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think a lot of these guys are maybe even agents. I have some evidence to prove that some of these guys are agents, but they don't want to talk about the Most High God. They get angry when you bring that up. They want to bring up economics. And economics never saved us. It didn't save us in the past, and it won't save us now, because they don't mind destroying everything that we build. So economics won't save us, and they don't want to touch on the Most High God. They only want to touch on the ancestors and the universe and your truth and all of this foolishness. So I get lost with those guys. I'll listen to get information,
Yeah.
But I listen to you guys to be edified. And that's the way it's been for a while. But I appreciate you allowing me to make these points. And I appreciate you all's insight and your diligence and what you all have done around the world. I'm extremely impressed. And I don't know, maybe one day I could even get baptized, but I guess that's another story. But because I was baptized into that other church under other circumstances, and life has been complicated. So thank you all very much for what you do. I hope you keep doing it. And, that's all I have to say.
Well, sir,
you all are...
Well, sir, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice in the matter. I can't stop. That's number one.
No,
So
I totally understand.
I don't have a choice in the matter. I know what's at the end of this, and I know who called us to do it. But let me have your name, brother, if you don't mind. I like to talk to you on the outside of this. Let me have your name.
Okay, Augustus Jones, and I'm from Lexington. You want my number?
Oh, I have your number. I'm going to call you.
Oh, I see.
Because you said you've been in front of this. You said for decades, and no one was listening. So, hey.
Well, yeah. They call you crazy when you notice things that other people don't notice. You're always crazy. But I've had my dark days just in life, and I guess all of us have. But no, this is something that definitely has been on my mind, and you and I would probably get into the talk of what they're doing from a DNA standpoint, and I know what's going on there as well, and I figured that out when I was in high school over 30 years ago, and some of the things that I mentioned have come to pass already. It's just ridiculous what they're doing. These people are evil. They're evil. So
yeah. So Augustus, thank you for the call, and I mean, it's been quite informative, and I'm gonna call you. We're gonna talk because I'm sure there's some.
I appreciate it.
There's some inroads in the past that we probably, I mean, not inroads, but I'm sure there's some paths as far as information goes that you and I probably can relate to in the same age range. So I'll give you a call.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
I'll tell you, the Most High is gathering the elect to the elect. He is gathering the elect to the elect. Man, this thing on the crack thing. Elder Lawyer, did you know about that? About the UCLA was dealing with that the doctors say that they were doing studies on this 13 years before our community had the particular drug, before it was called crack. The UCLA experiment. You know about that?
No, sir. That was the first time I heard about that. That's a gem the sister put out there.
Yeah, that's a gem because I heard about it in passing, but I never really looked into it. And it explains so much.
Right.
It explains so much. Because don't forget, this is at the same time that Black empowerment started coming back on the scene. I know you're too young to know about this, but Farrakhan came. He don't forget, after Malcolm died, that whole Black movement thing was totally just, it started spiraling. It really lost its depth or its power in the community after. No one knew who to trust as a community after the death of Malcolm, and it was hard to grasp or to cleave to any type of leader. Not real, after Malcolm and Martin, it was just like if we could allow this to happen, who can we trust? And then the 80s and 90s came around, and before that, it started coming around again when Farrakhan started coming out and the Hebrews started teaching, and we started getting back into that self-empowerment outside of establishment conversation. It started happening again, mid to late 80s, in the 90s. And I don't think it's a coincidence that at that time, boom, crack came in and devastated everything. We started trusting each other and started conversating behind closed doors with one another again. All right, and I believe that they seen that as some type of an existential threat, a political threat, that our people were on conversations like we were in the '60s, and threw a crack bomb right in the center of all of us. But I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to make that a conversation somehow. Either we'll do it here or Patreon or somewhere. But I'm gonna do some more research on this and pull it all together. All right. Last but not least, one more call, and then we can conclude. 757. Shalom.
Shalom.
Were you on earlier?
Elder?
Yes. This is Elder. Hello?
Shalom, Elder. Hello?
Shalom, sister. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I have a question. My question is, as far as forgiveness is concerned,
yeah.
Have you ever had a situation where you wanted forgiveness and someone did not forgive you? And how do you handle that? I was looking at the scripture in the book of Matthew with this, with forgiveness.
Okay.
Does it have to be theirs?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you're saying that you created an ought against a person and came to them and asked for forgiveness, and they didn't forgive you. Are you speaking of yourself?
I'm not speaking of myself. I'm speaking of a family member.
So this didn't happen to you?
No, or whatever, but it seems as though whatever with whomever it's with.
Okay. Let's not deal with the hypotheticals, right?
Okay.
No hypotheticals, because we cannot solve that. That's talking around things, and we're used to doing that, and therefore, no clear. There's no clarity in getting to the bottom of issues.
Okay, I guess
because
maybe
we talk
I could
around
put it
issues.
like this: no, when forgiveness is concerned, according to the Bible.
No, let me.
Can you break that down?
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness. The Bible says, rebuke, and if thou repent, forgive. Those are the steps. Rebuke happens usually when someone is coming against you or rebuking you or correcting you for offending them. So, right? So rebuke. And then if thou repent, someone can say, well, I'm sorry, but they have to show, they have to show some level of contrition. All right? And restitution if they took something. That's how one repent. You change. You restore. That's why it says rebuke. That's what Christ said. Rebuke. And if thou repent, forgive. That's the general stages of it in a nutshell. Now, that's just the general sense of it. Now, if someone says, if you do come to someone in full contrition and they don't forgive you, then there's nothing you can do. If you made amends and they still don't want to forgive you, now the burden is on them. Okay? You're free. You're free. Now they have to carry that weight, that heavy weight that can cause all types of issues, in their psyche. But you're free from it. Right?
All right. Mm-hmm.
All right. So.
All right. And yes, I understand now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
You cannot. I want to just say this,
listen,
and I'm going to try to be quickly as possible here because I know
let me say this.
To the end.
Let me say this. You cannot make a person forgive you.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That's just the bottom line. You can't make them forgive you. You can only take the steps to show that that you are contrite, that you're sorry for the things for the art. But that's the most you can do. I mean, what they want, blood. So that's the most you can do is ask them, or you can ask a person, what would it take for you to forgive me? And if they say I can never forgive you, I would just step around that and leave it alone. You're playing with dynamite. Okay.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's right. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And then I have a second question. Do you feel that a woman, a female marries a man, and this man, let's just say both of them are pretty much dysfunctional, and they marry, and when they do marry, that then she turns over, and then she becomes where she turns into God. This was nothing that was done beforehand, but she turns into the Most High, if you will, and then when she does, she feels that she can bring the husband in. That she can, change, or you ever seen that happen with people where
you got a lot
I'm
of
just going back when
you have a lot of hypotheticals, don't you?
The head of the household.
You got a whole hypothetical. Are you talking about you, sister?
No,
I mean, what is this thing where people will talk about themselves, but don't make it as if it's some foreign hypothetical that you're just throwing out there.
I tell you what, I'm gonna sum it up by saying and all or whatever. There's a lot of situations going on.
Lord have mercy.
Since I've been awakened, and Most High has awakened me or whatever. It's like it's a TKO. It's like I'm seeing everything. It's like, oh my God, I wish in all years ago I had I've been in the truth in all like 3.5 years. And, I grew up and doing like church. And when I look back at church, it seems like a 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. It does now. I mean, I'm like, I was trying to grip that growing up and all. I could never understand. I mean, I just tried to, and it just didn't come together. I just couldn't get it. But yeah, but now it's been like, 3.5 years I've been in the truth, and so yeah, it's been a little complicated and all, but I'm getting through. But I was wondering if you could give me a call on a personal issue, please, if possible.
Okay, I'll give you a call, sister. Thank you.
So that's right. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Shalom.
Shalom. I'll give you a call. All right. Oh, no, I can't do that. Sound like somebody getting off a train, Elder Lawyer. All right. I shouldn't be here this late because I have a lot to do tomorrow. Hey, Sunshine, I'm going to let you in, and I'm looking at the clock. You can only do 2 minutes. If you go past 2 minutes, I'm going to put on the 12 Tribe song. And we're going to exit this particular broadcast. 2 minutes. So I hope you're not laughing.
Okay. Shalom, Elder. Hi.
I'm putting on a timer now.
Okay. Wow. Continually, there is this bobbing and weaving and shooking and jiving in every which way to catch Israel whenever and wherever they can get us. And there's always the modus operandi to pass the buck from one winged bird to the next, under this government. But all are on one accord and in a singular united front to continually suppress and oppress us. And in the lesser magic, even almost in gleefulness of heart, whether it's on a saxophone or not, they who have planned carefully on that chessboard against us then expose exactly what they have done against us in such a way as to take the steps used against us and claim that they did this really to help and lift our community, and it is a pipe dream that they sell us again and again, and our own people are used to oppress us in masses, and they use us in that black space to first persuade us to follow and to be herded into the lie. Then the black spacers are also used in a second way to advance and prep to cast blame for what we're experiencing and will continue to experience in droves, that we, Israel, have chosen the support of the conspirators against us. So not only are we in the communities, the poor, facing a real and present danger against us that stems from only familiar oppression, the regular familiar oppression that we've had with socially and financially being pushed down, but we are now even more in this situation because of the laws that we see that are against us, like we see coming with Illinois, that fiasco, and that are made continually to put us in bonds and as an arm against us, and it's embedded in the language, so where the majority doesn't know the bulk of the tax against us, and it's justified through the law against Israel in a blatant way now that it never has been before and never again will be. And so it is no surprise that the homestead and release jailers of violent acts will be released from the population of large and specifically on the population of us, and the earthly kings that we don't have a king to rule over us, even if the jailers and conspirators will come and be our own people. Every measure they've done is calculated in impatience and an obsession against us, aimed for our demise, from the simple to the largest tasks, that have been pushed against us. But no doubt, though, we have been pipered from back, belly, and side by our own and by others that aren't ours. Through the purge, we know that the prophecies of the remnant rise cannot be stopped. The Most High's word doesn't come back void. And as much as the mad and deranged and eternally lost will work to what seems to be without end, they and their fallen kingdom will soon end. By grace, we will walk in wisdom, will endure, and they'll lose and shimmy out the way, and we'll win. Every snare, ale, and overlook of us reveals our one step closer to the righteous goalpost under Christ, who will have the rod of iron. And all praises be to the Most High. Praise the Most High. Oh, praise the Most High, Elder.
Praise the Most High. You did it.
Bless you.
Fantastic. A little bit more than 2 minutes, but we'll let it go. Sunshine always bring some, she put it together. She has very great listening skills and a great perspective. So thank you, Sister Ani B. I had some of that apple jelly and I had some of that grape jelly. I got the grape jelly. Thank you, Ani B. I appreciate it. All the elders appreciate your jellies, and I'm going to call you so we can talk about packaging this stuff. But talk to us.
Okay. Well, I am up from 17 flavors. I am up now to 25 flavors.
25 flavors. Great. We're going to have jelly in the wilderness. Flavors. Yes. And I'm bringing it with me to Tabernacles too, your jelly. So you're going to see the videos and things that I have there. I'm going to be showing us live, going through the camp, seeing people cook out and do what they do. I'm on we're on our workout regimen, so I'm not going to eat too much, but I'm going to put some jelly on that toast, and it's going to be, I'm going to show everybody, this is Annie B's. But go ahead. You had to say something before we break out tonight?
Yes, I do. Can I say one thing, Elder? Is it possible that I can give you my website? I mean, not my website. I'm going to open up my website, but my email address. People are asking in the chat, how can they order?
Okay, now, do you want to put your email address out there publicly for people?
Yes, it doesn't matter. Yes.
Okay, what is it? I'll type it in for them. What is it?
It's B Daniels 153.
Or B Daniels. Hold on.
With the S.
B Daniels. Go ahead.
153.
153.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.
At gmail.com.
.com. You probably want to get it on the GOCC network too. Get a banner there, and get Ani B's jellies. All right.
Yep, I have. I'm working with Sister Tiffany Nicole Wright. She's gonna make me a website, and
Okay.
I'm gonna get that over to you so we can get it into the system.
Okay, great. Well, there she go. That's her email, and that's Auntie B. Auntie B. And I'm gonna tell you, the Apple, all of that, it's just absolutely amazing, sister. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it's up there. All right.
Well, I made a new one for the people that are in the South. It's called Southern Peach. It tastes like peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler jelly. Oh,
Yeah.
you trying to hurt the game now? And I'm
Yep.
sitting there trying to. I finally got the gut off, and you trying to mess it up here. But don't worry.
And then I made another one that people, if you have colds, you can also melt them down and put them on top of ice cream, put them on top of waffles or whatever. I have one that's lemon ginger. If you have a cold, you can put a couple of teaspoons in some tea, and that'll also work good for you.
Lemon ginger jelly?
Yes, sir.
I need that in my life. Hey, lawyer, I may do that with some peanut butter. See, as soon as I get my gut off, soon as I slim down, they come with this stuff. Listen, don't worry about it. Well, thank you, Ani, and Ani B, and I did put your email, Ani B's. That's bdaniels153@gmail.com. Support the sister. I don't have to ever worry about purchasing Welch's again. I'm done with it. It's delicious. All right. So thank you, sister. And
now
I gotta
You're
go.
welcome.
It's
No
11
problem.
p.m. But I'm gonna call you. And we can talk about seeing what we can do to get this stuff packaged. All right. Hey, this is a nation. This is a nation. See how we do it? Praise the Most High. All right. Thank you.
Praise him.
I thank you all, and understand that if we follow the Most High, you can sidestep the purge. Keep in mind, the Most High is calling back Israel, and I'll see you this weekend in our Sabbath and our Hebrew and Bible Academy. Go to historytimes.org. Who is Edom is the lesson. Shalom. And thank you, other lawyer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, all right. And keep understanding that the Most High is calling back Israel. Shalom.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulun from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. The highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled and fed. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A high gatherer Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. A highest gathering Israel. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians. A highest gathering Israel. in Colombia, Ruben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering is